Hello? Okay. Oh my goodness. I restarted my computer. Classic computer, not recognizing my mic after I update Windows. Thanks. I caught it though. I caught it this time. Anyways, hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another live stream. Although this isn't just any old live stream, because this is the first step in a collaboration with Gluten Snake, who is a content creator who's pretty well established at this point. He's got a community of people who make mods for Deadlock and who play very silly matches of Deadlock with various gimmicks, like Eternus players needing to follow the laws of Judaism, which was absolutely hilarious. And something that he did a while back with Metro was he had Metro design a balance patch, and then his modders implemented that patch into the game. And I have been extended the same opportunity. So, what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be developing a balance patch with you guys, with my wonderful chat. And, yeah, we are going to get that sent over to Gluten and his modders, and then eventually we will have a video up of some matches of that, and I will have a video explaining the balance patch, and it should be a fantastic time, hopefully. And, I believe a modder is supposed to be in my chat at some point to, like, kind of say yes or no to some of my very wacky and zany ideas, because... Oh, Claymeister! Stop spoiling it! How did you get access to my design document? Oh my god. But yeah, I think, hopefully somebody will be in here to tell me yes or no to some of the very wacky ideas that I have. Because... well, I'm coming at this from a different perspective to Metro. Metro was trying to make some changes that actually make the game better and more balanced, and I'm not doing that. I am not an Eternus level player, so I don't know what the correct balance changes are for a lot of the cast. Do I need to give Holiday 0.03 extra bullet damage on her boons or something like that? I don't know anything about that. I don't care about that. What I care about is making very bold, very fun changes to the game. And getting the chance to test some of the changes that I am somewhat interested in the game having, and seeing if they are truly good ideas, or if I should not be hired by Yoshi as part of the balance team. So... yeah, I have drafted a document, and I honestly, yesterday I was just gonna, like, map out some basic changes, and then, like, 5 hours later, I ended up with a patch that has a lot of changes in it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna refine this, and also, there are a lot of heroes that are missing in my balance patch because I have no ideas for them. So I would love to see if chat has any ideas for some of the heroes that I didn't put in. Like, I don't... what am I supposed to do with Holiday? I don't play the character, I never see the character, I don't know what to do with Holiday, so... yeah, anyways, I guess we can take a look at the document here. This should be exciting. Oh, there's a 2 now. And I believe I have a share link as well. Copy link. Let's send the link over to the chat and hope that this doesn't break anything. Hopefully you guys are anonymous on here. I don't know. I'll post it in the YouTube chat as well, I guess. I know editing is off. You guys are not about to delete my balance patch, okay? But, yeah, we'll see. Ah, there's someone, and they're anonymous. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Google. So, I made a balance patch here, and the overarching goal of the patch is to make bold, fun changes that boost playstyle diversity and make heroes feel better to play. Emphasis on feel better to play, no emphasis on balance whatsoever. Some of the changes are serious, indeed, while others are volatile and experimental changes that might not totally be balanced, and I added some developer commentary to a lot of these. And so the blue changes are serious, like I would genuinely want to see this in Deadlock. Green changes are for quality of life changes that'll make the hero feel better to play, but might be an unnecessary buff. And then yellow changes is for stuff where I snorted 3 lines of crack and then wrote some changes for Bebop. So that's that's what that is. But you know what? Since Lash was already mentioned, let's go take a look at Lash. So this is what I got for Lash. Grapple. Cast range now scales with Spirit, because it annoys me greatly that if you buy Rapid Recharge and Extra Charge, the Spirit doesn't do anything. So, let's give it a little bit of that. Tier 1 now gives you +1 charge, but I did shave, I think it's 4 seconds off of the cooldown of it. So, a slightly longer cooldown, but you get 1 charge for the Tier 1 upgrade now. The tier 2 previously was cast range and weapon damage. I decided to make that cast range and then improve the spirit scaling of the cast range so you can get even more cast range. So you can just go crazy. And then the tier 3, I moved the weapon damage up. I got rid of the fire rate and I just made the weapon damage stronger, and then I added another charge because let's have 3 charges of lash grapple if you choose to max it out. That sounds fair to me. So, yeah. That's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of words. Goodness, what is the word count of this document? Oh, goodness. I don't know how to write small documents. This thing is like 14 pages. Okay, never mind, it's 9. Wait, it's 9 pages here. If I go over to my side monitor, it turns into 14 pages. Ah, thank you, Google. Anyways. Okay, I want to talk about some of the crazy ideas I had, though. Like, some of the genuinely unhinged stuff. Oh, by the way, I forgot. Flog. I decided to make the base attack angle much bigger, because when you use it early on lane, and you miss something that is, like, right in the center of your screen, that feels really annoying. So, I just leveled it out. I made the base attack angle stronger. I made the spirit scaling weaker, because I don't want it to feel bugged. And so, I just fixed that. With rapid recharge, Lash has 5 grapple uncatchable. See, this is where I need input from chat. Is 5 grapple too much? My idea was, hey, let's make him not even need rapid recharge, but hey, maybe you could go rapid recharge, I don't know. Make Lash'll have the stun in base kit, because you can dodge it in both the cast and after the throw, so there's still some leeway. I don't think so. I don't think Lash needs that much of a buff. I wasn't actually going into this thinking Lash needed buffs outside of, hey, let's give him at least 1 charge on the tier 1. I could take the tier 3 out. You know what I could do is I could just kind of, like, reset this. Oh, not plus 18. Hold on. I could just reset this to, and what was it, 20% fire rate? Something like that? I need to be in the sandbox mode. Make this a little bit easier on me. Okay, so yeah, it's 20% and 6 weapon damage, so I could just make that the tier 3. Excuse me. But I'll make the weapon damage a little higher. Okay, so 8 weapon damage and 20% fire rate. I could do that. Give Gun Lash players an option. No Viper changes? Well, Erlenmeyer, there could be Viper changes. I don't know what to do with Viper, but you probably do, and other people in my chat probably do as well. My heart says no, but my brain says yes, 5 is too many. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm going to give him the +1 on tier 1, guaranteed, because I think that would feel so fun. But I think otherwise this will probably be fine. I did actually, these numbers I pulled out for the spirit scaling, they're not pulled totally out of the ether. I did actually calculate them. So if we have 100 spirit power times 0.04, then we get a whopping 4 meters of extra cast range, which is a fifth of what you get from the tier 2 buff. And then if we upgrade that, we get 8 meters of cast range. And so maybe that would be too much, but I don't know. I want a spirit scaling component to this because it annoys me. When an ability has charges, you can buy rapid recharge on it, but then the spirit power that rapid recharge gives you just goes to waste. It doesn't do anything. That really annoys me. So, yeah. Alright, yeah, we'll get rid of the 3rd charge. Anyways, I wanna talk about some actually unhinged stuff now. Are you guys ready to see what I did to Bebop? I'm a crazy person. Somebody might need to take this document away from me and erase these Bebop changes. So what I did, something that I've wanted to see for a while now, is what would happen if we made him less dependent on the hook. Because to me, the hook is the absolute most frustrating thing about Bebop. Because on the one hand, he's really dependent on it. And so if you're not hitting your hooks, then you're doing pretty bad as Bebop usually. And on the flip side, getting hooked from 60 plus meters away because he's got greater expansion every 11 seconds because he's got the cooldown maxed out, that's really annoying too. So I had about 5 shots of whiskey, and then I came up with these balance changes. So I buffed the base cast range, and I slightly nerfed the cooldown, and then I completely redid the tier 2 and the tier 3 upgrades. And the goal I had in mind was to drastically nerf the grapple arm, right? So you don't have the same cooldown. The cooldown's been slightly nerfed on the tier 3 as well. And you don't have the range anymore. You can't get up to 60 meters of range. And also, on the exploding uppercut, I removed the ability for the tier 3 to reset your grapple arm cooldown to 0. And so all these heavy nerfs. But what I did is, I buffed exploding uppercut quite substantially, and I also buffed bomb bop. So, because, you know, Bomb Bop sucks, and I want to make it better. So, Tier 2 is now, on hero hit, gain 20 spirit power for 6 seconds. I don't actually know if this is possible, by the way. So the modders are going to have to, like, let me know about that. And if I can't do this, then I want something on the Tier 2 that'll synergize with doing more damage with the bomb. Because I want Bomb Bop to do better. What does Gun Bop get from this? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because I don't really think that's the most fun way to play him. I think we can play Bomb Bop. Let's nerf the worst build and buff the better one. I'm sorry? In what world is Gun Bop the worst build? Because Bomb Bop, literally debuff remover exists. Anyways, so yeah, on hero hit, gain 20 spirit power for 6 seconds. That's the tier 2, so you get more spirit power, you get more damage on your abilities after hooking a hero. And we can adjust the numbers on that later, possibly. Bomb Bops use self-cast? Yes. Counterspell exists. And then I also slightly buffed the spirit scaling, slightly buffed the tier 2 damage on the bomb. But then what really I did that was kind of interesting here for Exploding Uppercut is I took a page out of one of the unhinged and hot takes from my hot takes video, where someone said that they wanted to see him do heavy melee damage on Exploding Uppercut. So I figured, why not? Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Maybe he can join Gluten Snake's server and join the match that's going to be played with this change and play some Bebop and see how it feels. So tier 3, instead of resetting the grapple arm cooldown to 0, it now makes Exploding Uppercut deal heavy melee damage, and it still retains the 100% ammo. So that should be quite fun. Hopefully, because that's going to be a big deal. It's going to mean more damage, and also it's going to mean way shorter cooldowns on Spirit Snatch and Life Strike. So think all melee abilities could get heavy melee treatment at tier 3, maybe not Calico Slash. Yeah, it's kind of a recurring theme I did with a lot of these, and it honestly might not be balanced at all, but I don't know. Oh yeah, and also I gave him more spirit scaling on the Exploding Uppercut, quite substantially. Because again, I'm nerfing the hook so much, so I don't know. Where's my support bop changes? Oh god, what is that? I don't know what that is. Bebop's Sticky Bomb on tier 3 can be considered as an ultimate effect, so it can't be removed easily. Oh gosh. I considered that. But that almost feels too powerful for Bomb Bop. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyways, so does Chad have any ideas for Bebop? I see you guys already talking about Drifter. I'm not talking about Drifter yet. I'm talking about Bebop. So what is support Bebop? What is that? You like hook someone out of a Dynamo Bolt or something? Hook Bebop with all debuffs possible, I guess? I have never heard of that playstyle. I just want the 3 stamina back for Bebop. Fair enough, but I totally understand why they removed that. I do genuinely get that, and I don't plan on adding that back. Hook heals a flat amount when pulling allies? Oh gosh. You want a crackhead idea? Make the laser propel you. Scaling with fire rate or weapon stats to some movement ability instead. Oh no! I didn't buff his ultimate at all, apart from technically this tier 2 giving more spirit power. Otherwise, I didn't really think it actually needed anything. Rocket ship Bebop! Whoa! Hook allies out of danger, send allies in with an uppercut. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can kind of just do that already, though, with like a bomb build. Put a bomb on an ally, Exploding Uppercut your Abrams in, and then he charges someone, and then they blow up. Something like that. Or, what's that guy's name? The guy who hasn't uploaded in, like, 3 months, who made the Bomb Bop montages, and the Calico stuff? Could be funny. Uppercut adds a bomb! Oh my god, that would be so disgustingly overpowered. Because then you'd have bomb, Echo Shard, bomb, uppercut, bomb. Oh. I'm not trying to make Bebop overpowered. Which, I mean, hopefully I haven't done that. I don't know. Not self-aware. That's his name. Yeah. Sticky Bomb healed instead of dealing damage. You self-cast Sticky Bomb, and it turns into a healing ability instead of a damage ability. GG, bro. Now Bebop's really dead. Oh yeah, by the way, the Abrams change has kind of just been sitting on the screen the entire time. I buffed Infernal Resilience by 1% because I figured I'd take inspiration from Yoshi himself and make a balance change that is actually sensible. And I decided that the stun can have slightly more duration on his ultimate, so that way you can actually heavy melee somebody after it, because it irritates me to no end that you can't heavy melee after your ult. I feel like that should be a thing. Is Abrams going to be overpowered in my patch with these two changes? Probably. Do I care? Yeah, the ultimate needs to let you heavy melee, I feel. It makes sense. Does Abrams need a buff realistically? Probably not. He's really good, but I want this to be a thing. Make Bebop Grapple able to cast on walls for more mobility. That would be really cool, but I think that's probably out of reach for the modders. I don't know what the modders are capable of. I'm impressed that they're able to even mod any of this into the game at all. Lycan's likely going to be the one who mods this? Cool. Giving allies a boost on uppercut sounds very cool. You guys actually want support Bebop to be a thing? I mean, we could try. A speed boost sounds really funny. What are his upgrades again? Let me check his upgrades. Maybe we can slot that in on an upgrade if you really want to. Oh gosh, his tier 2 is just so thick though. Like, both of these are so bloated already. Maybe it could just be intrinsic. Double speed, go in there or get out. Honestly, okay. What if we did... Oh gosh, what am I doing with my document right now? Okay. What if we did, like, new effect, grant allies plus 2 meters per second move speed for 6 seconds on hit. Something like that? Like, you punch an ally, they get a little bit of movement speed. Help him out. All his abilities gave him speed. Ah! You hit a hook, and then, while you're still reeling them in, you get 10 meters per second of movement speed, and you just pull them even farther back. There you go. I mean, we could try that, if you guys want something like that. And then maybe we can add something to the grapple arm, too, just to make it feel appropriate. On ally hit... actually, new effect. On ally hit, grant... grant affected ally... We could heal them, I think, maybe. Make it like a pseudo-rescue beam? Or barrier? I feel like barrier is, like, a lot, though. I don't want to give him a barrier. Spirit scaling shield to punched allies at tier 3 would be really funny. I'm already giving him a heavy melee, though. Honestly, I don't want to make this too bloated. I don't know. Half cooldown on ally hook? Ooh. Wait, that's actually kind of interesting. Reduce cooldown by 50% for hitting ally. That's actually an interesting idea. Also, let me get rid of this punctuation. I want to make this, like... I want to make it all uniform. That sounds really interesting. Divine Barrier? I feel like that's too much. I feel like healing and all that, I think that's just adding bloat to the grapple arm in a way that is going to make him harder to balance, and it kind of doesn't jive with what he wants to do, I feel. Uppercut landing effects have 2x AoE size if it was an ally. Oh, man. You guys have even more unhinged ideas for Bebop than I do! Ah! Well, if even you don't know if it's possible, I feel like we can just settle with this and this for now. I feel like that's already a lot for support Bebop, which I didn't even know was a thing until today. So, make Bebop say rising uppercut. Yeah, that would be cool. Make the speed boost scale with spirit, please. I mean, it's 2 meters a second. What do you want from me? That's a lot. That's a lot. Oh, God. How do you guys feel about these numbers, though? Real quick, I want to move on from Bebop now, but real quick, I just want to check the numbers. So, I wanted to give him a substantial damage buff to Exploding Uppercut. I wanted to give him a little bit more damage on these. And also, what do you think about the range and the cooldown? I wanted to make the cast range slightly under, in between the 30 meters and the 60 meters, so I put it here. Because you can still upgrade it with greater expansion, and you'll get 35% on that. So 40 times 1.35. So you still have a 54 meter hook if you choose to do that, which is still pretty long, but just way shorter than what you could do previously. And I did keep Speedy Bomber in, because I think that's fun. I think that was a really funny change that they made. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Otherwise, these are the numbers that I'm putting in. Because we like damage. Okay, cool. I guess we can move on. Let me get to a couple more less controversial changes before we talk about Drifter, because I didn't even intend on really editing Drifter that much, and then I came up with this, and it could all totally be bad for him, so I don't know. But, Dynamo, I did a quality of life thing. It really annoys me that you can't move and use abilities during the aura until you max it out, so I just shifted that effect into base kit. And then for the tier 1, I made it so you get 2 meters per second of move speed for 8 seconds, and then once you reach the tier 3, it's back to the 4 meters per second that you would get normally. So, that was kind of my idea for him. I don't think anyone's going to complain about that. It sounds pretty fun to me. It really annoys me that you can't use that properly until you've maxed it out. And I guess for Great Talon, I didn't really plan on adding anything for him either. I figured I could do a couple of things just to make him interesting. So, slightly buff the spirit scaling of his bullet damage, and I shifted the tier 2 and tier 3 run, so the tier 2 is now the lifesteal, slightly less. But then the tier 3, I just, I don't know, man. I added a bunch more weapon damage. I decided to add 4 multi-shot because I think it would be really funny, and I kept the slow. So, you know. I just want somebody to play with that with split shot. Because remember, right? Here's your normal split shot, but then you add split shot, and it's a 5x multiplier. So now all of a sudden you're doing this much. So what's... am I gonna crash somebody's computer if we do 9 times 5 amount of arrows? Like, 45 arrows per shot? Is that too much? I feel like... I don't know, it sounds funny. It sounds really funny. So, I'm gonna try it. Maybe 30% movement slow to compensate, plus there's an intrinsic 10% slow on hidden game? Wait, is this slow? I don't think this... Wait, what? As far as I'm aware, this has no inbuilt slow, and then when you upgrade to tier 2, that's when you get 40%. I literally just moved the 40% up. Multi-shots are heavy. Yeah, I don't know. See, I have the benefit and the privilege of using an actual supercomputer, so I never get lag when people do silly multi-shot things. But I genuinely don't know, like, will I crash somebody's game if I give Great Talon 45 arrows per rate of arrows when he uses split shot? I don't know. Oh, the like base gun damage. Right, I forgot about that. I mean, it's still 40% on rain of arrows, so I'm just going to translate that up. I don't really see a need to change that, personally. Maybe, alright. I didn't consider crashing yesterday. I think I'm going to move this to 2 multi-shot, which is still more multi-shot, but just a little bit less than what I was going for. Because that would have been a little crazy. A little much, yeah. Oh yeah, and also for Spirit Snare, I buffed the tier 2. Because, for some reason, the tier 2 applies minus bullet resist, but not spirit resist, which really doesn't synergize with normal Great Talon gameplay, so I figured I would apply both. And I think now that I think about it, I think I'm going to lower the value to 12 instead of 15. Just because 15 is a lot for both resistances. Maybe even reduce the duration. Actually, what's the duration of the curse anyways? 4 seconds with this maxed out? 3.25? Okay. I'm kind of thinking between 6 and 4 then. So maybe 5. That's 50% slow during Rain of Arrows at tier 2. Yep. That's just great talent, man. Meow. Yep, that's the thing he's able to do. Pretty crazy. Kind of goes underappreciated, underrealized, underutilized. I would hate to lane against Talon with this, especially with his tier 3 being way stronger, being even stronger in other ways. I actually don't even know how many people are playing Gun Talon these days. I just figured it'd be really funny to blot out the sun with 1 billion arrows. So, how much extra weapon damage should I even give him? 5 to 7.5 is a 50% increase to this aspect in particular. I did nerf the lifesteal though, so I don't know. I just figured it'd be interesting. All right, let's talk about Drifter now, though. I did some utterly insane things to Drifter, and I might have completely missed the mark with some of these balance changes. I'm worried that I might have been a little heavy-handed with the nerfs, because I gave some pretty drastic buffs to other aspects of his kit. So, Drifter tier 3 Ren change bad, but it's more damage, and more cooldown reduction on life strike and stuff. I'm gonna need you to write me a 5-paragraph essay, Dennis, about why that's bad. Anyways, so I guess let's just start with the most important thing. Blood Scent is an ability that's really weird. So, like, in a team fight, it's basically useless a lot of the time. And I wanted to fix that. But I might have gone too far buffing it, and then I might have gone too far nerfing other aspects, and maybe I should tone it back a little bit, is what I'm wondering about. So, what I did is I reduced the isolated range from 25 meters down to 20 meters, so it's a bit easier to isolate somebody. I buffed the damage. That might be too much. That straight up might be too much. But then, I added a new effect. So enemies affected by his ultimate are considered isolated, which just seems like the right thing to do. I don't know why it's not already a thing, to be honest. Like, why is this not isolated? I should be doing more damage to this guy, you know? Like, if he's got a teammate next to him, I should still be, like, hitting him harder, because he's blind, or whatever. He doesn't know his teammate's there. So, I don't know, that feels like the right thing to do. But then, because I added that, and because I buffed the damage, I really just went crazy on, like, the base kit nerfs. So I reduced the ammo, I reduced the fall-off, or I made the fall-off range smaller, so the fall-off starts sooner. I did buff the reload time, but then I reduced the damage per boon substantially, and I nerfed the spirit per boon. So did I go too crazy? I literally thought that's how it works. Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer, right? So, let's try it out. Make Lightning Scroll work again on his ultimate? No, I'm not doing that. But yeah, it's literally his only form of sustained melee. Oop. Melee build is a meme, you can't kill people fast enough with it? Well, Dennis, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make it so you can kill people fast enough with it. Because bear in mind, right? So we deal heavy melee damage with the tier 3. And then I buffed the damage of isolation. And I also changed around the Stalker's Mark. I don't know if this is a good idea. I put the charges at tier 1, and then the tier 3 I made it a much stronger damage bonus. So, these abilities on an isolated target are going to hit really hard, I think. And, like, okay, where's my life strike? There's my beautiful life strike. So right now, if I just life strike this guy, it goes on, oop, that's the wrong thing to do. It goes on an 8-second cooldown, but then with heavy melee, it'll go on a 4-second cooldown. So you kind of get healing that way if you want. And like, just buy Vampiric Burst, man. Don't Drifter players already do that? Do you want to play gun? Is that another thing? You do slightly more damage, actually less because Mark Tier 3 is too much AP investment, but you have 0 lifesteal. You don't buy a Vampiric Burst anymore. Curse too strong. What? Okay, what are people even building these days? Okay, this gets the lifesteal first. This gets the lifesteal much later. This gets the lifesteal in the middle. This gets the lifesteal much later. This gets the lifesteal way late. This gets the lifesteal pretty late. This is the last upgrade, but it's Hybrid Drifter. This gets it late. I don't know. I'm not seeing that much priority for it. They get it late because they waste 6k on Vampiric Burst? How many of these builds have Vampiric Burst? This one has Vampiric, this one has Vampiric. This one does not. This one has Vampiric, this one has Vampiric, this one has Vampiric, this one has Vampiric. I don't know, Dennis. I feel like you're not playing the same game as me right now. Even this build has Vampiric in it. And this is the meta, although it does get the lifesteal earlier. Dennis is smarter than Top Daily. Don't listen to the data, Andrew. Listen to the personal experience. Listen to the anecdote. Okay, let me take more of a look at this. So, should I... Let's ignore this for now, because I don't want to think about this yet. The most important thing to balance is this. And what I'm wondering is, do I actually need to buff the isolated damage or not? Is this too much? A 5% extra damage amp on everything. Is that too much? That is the question. Don't increase the damage of Blood Scent. Well, we got one person saying no. It might be overkill considering that I'm buffing the ease of application of isolation. Is it 5% per stack? Because that can spiral. No, I'm not talking about the stacks. I'm talking about the intrinsic isolated damage. So Blood Scent has two components. You have the amplified damage and then you have the permanent weapon damage. I'm buffing the amplified damage. So that's the damage you get when you're up close to someone who's isolated like that. Attach the damage to the upgrade rather than the base. That could be a good compromise. Okay. Isolated tier 3 from 10% to 15%. We could do that. And then at that point, do I need to nerf the gun and the stuff up here as hard as I'm nerfing it? I feel like maybe some nerfs would be okay. I think I'll get rid of the fall-off change. That might be a little too much. I don't know. What do you think? Drifter already gets stacks from assists. Yeah, he does. If he gets less stack per kills, less snowball? I don't know how impactful that is right now. I'm the guy who doesn't play much Drifter, but who wants to play with his abilities more than his gun, trying to change him around, and also trying to fix Blood Scent, which is an ability that people have had problems with. So, I'm happy to take more advice from chat, honestly. Would it be cool to make the max range bigger? I don't want to do that. I think he's a close quarters character. Alright, what if we did a compromise? What if we did, like... Okay, if you don't like that I'm getting rid of the lifesteal in tier 3, what if I added some lifesteal and made it heavy melee, but not as much lifesteal? Like, what about 20% lifesteal? Stalker's Mark is a ton of damage, so moving up the bleed is kind of sad. Honestly, though, the Stalker's Mark is a tough ability, because I feel like people don't usually upgrade it to tier 3, right? Let me take a look at the builds again. This upgrades it to tier 3 pretty late. This upgrades it to tier 3 last. Almost last. Like, it's super duper late. And so I wanted to, like, give more value into that and then give more of an incentive to max out the Stalker's Mark. So that was the thought process behind switching the two upgrades and then making the tier 3 much more powerful as a result. But, I don't know. Melee lifesteal to run instead of bullet lifesteal? I mean, it'd be interesting. I'm not sure if it's the right idea, though, because a big component of the damage is still Spirit. I don't know. It's last because having 2 teleports doesn't do anything? Well, how can we fix that? Because I want the upgrade to actually be useful. 2 TP would make sense if you could TP to teammates to get out. Oh, that'd be interesting. Do we have a modder in the chat that can confirm whether that would actually even be possible? Like, can I throw this to a teammate, stick it on them, and then teleport? That would be a good tier 3, and then I could just reset the tier 1 here. We don't need to change that then. Lycan, you still here? Let me see. Where's Lycan in my DMs? Question. Teleporting to allies with stalkers, Mark. I'll message that. Well, hopefully he'll get back to me on that. Add it, better ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. Yeah, Lycan did say he was going to work. I messaged him on Discord. Okay, so... Okay, let me just add... Wait, not here. Let me just add potential tier 3 new effects can now target allies with stalkers. Mark, I feel like it should do something. Can now target allies with stalkers. Mark. I don't think I should heal them. Drifter's not a healer. But maybe... Hey, maybe we give him the 2 meters per second movement speed treatment. Just allow you to teleport, I don't know. I mean, I guess Yamato doesn't do anything when she's allowed to target allies either. So... Damage resistance? I don't know about that. Gives the same buffs that Drifter gets? Okay, so maybe, like, you teleport to an ally and you share 25% fire rate for 6 seconds after ambushing? Do we want to share all of that? That seems like... Let me throw that to my Haze, and then she does more damage, and then I'm teleporting on her, and then we both just gank. That'd be really powerful. But maybe that's okay. TPing on people would allow it to be much more flexible, yes. If we're not able to turn it into Corvus's dagger from Paladins, which Loki would be kind of fun. Okay. Can now target allies with Stalker's Mark. Shares tier 2 buff with them. Something like that. And then we can just, like, comment both of these out. For now, I'll just make it darker, like that. So I won't delete these yet, because I need to see if this is even possible. Okay, but we do that. Let me get rid of the Spirit Power nerf as well. And then for this, Ren now deals heavy melee damage, gain 25% bullet lifesteal against affected targets for 4 seconds. I'll add a little bit of that back. Or maybe we could do both. I like hybrid. You know what? Let's do hybrid. Bullet and spirit lifesteal. How about that? I want to encourage Drifter to actually use his abilities. Oh boy. Rend spam. Yeah, I like... Did you guys know I like Rend? It's kind of my favorite Drifter ability. It's kind of the only ability Drifter has. And then I guess up here. Okay, how about these numbers, though, chat? What do you think about these specific gun numbers? A more thorough rework of Stalker's Mark could make it more flexible without compromising balance. Yeah, I don't want to stick on Drifter too long, though, because at the end of the day, I don't really know enough to thoroughly do that. And we got a bunch of other characters to get to. $62 feels fine for me. I did preemptively nerf this in anticipation of buffing the crap out of Blood Scent. So 6-7 Erlenmeyer. That's it. I'm taking your mod privileges away. 61. 61's ugly. You know what? How about we do 60? I like even numbers. Nice even numbers. And then I'll do this as well. I think I like the ammo idea. Reload faster stuff. I'm not making it 6-1. Alright, let's move on from Drifter, I think. I think this is probably okay. I still need Lycan to get back to me. So... M already feels really low, but people can work around that. Yeah, and I made the reload time shorter. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so we've covered these. Haze and Infernus. Let's, I guess, talk about them. I did some silly things. So, I'm a silly person. Got both of them. Well, okay. Let's start with Infernus, because I think you guys are going to like what I did for Infernus. So, first of all, I adjusted a couple of these numbers because I thought they were really ugly. Why did Yoshi make this 17%? 17 is an ugly number. Let's make that 15. Slight nerf to Napalm. Slight buff to Flame Dash. Put this back up to 30. Get these 7s out of here. There's like 6 7s on this Infernus build, dude. I don't like it. But then what I did for Afterburn. I did some really silly things here. So first of all, here's the, like... Here's the blatantly, like, good thing about, here's the blatantly, good thing I think I did with Infernus here. I said the thing! It's a Gluten Snake collab. He made, like, 2 entire videos about the 6-7 joke. I had to say something. But yeah, so... Infernus has freaking Silencer as the tier 1 effect of his Afterburn, which is a little insane. And Infernus is strong enough, I think we can remove this entirely and just make the burn effect much more tame. So... Metro said, you noob and low rank, so you don't have the right to make patch. That's funny, Twigbone. That's so funny. But yeah, I figured I would just make that much more tame. I don't even know if Metro actually said that. This person's probably just trolling. Although it would be in character. I don't know. But yeah, then what I did up here, this is a silly idea I wanted to try. So, Infernus, right? He's got hot hands, right? He literally shoots fire out of his fingertips. So what if we made melee hits also build up some portion of Afterburn? Melee Infernus, goat. Yeah, like what if that was a thing? I just want to see. I'm just curious. More than anything. It's not necessarily a serious balance change, although maybe it is a good idea. That's why I want to test it. So I'm adding it, and melee is going to build up a tiny bit of Afterburn now. So what I did was 30% for light melee, 60% for heavy melee. So one heavy melee isn't going to get you all the way there. One heavy melee and light melee still isn't going to get you there. You still need to shoot a little bit. I didn't want to make it so, like, oh, you're just constantly throwing hands to build Afterburn now, but I wanted there to be a little bit of a reason to melee on this character, especially because he actually does have some melee synergy. Napalm amps the melee damage, Flame Dash gets you in melee range, and then Concussive Combustion, I mean, that literally just sets someone up for the perfect heavy melee. Boom, just like that, they're stunned. So, I figured there was a reason to put it in the kit. I want to try it. I think it's interesting, so I added that to Afterburn. And I also buffed the tier 3 of Concussive Combustion. I don't think I see anybody upgrade to this. Does anybody actually upgrade to this? I'm curious. Okay, so it's the last upgrade in this build. What about the rest of these builds? This build, last upgrade. This build, second to last. Last upgrade. Second to last. Last upgrade. Last upgrade. Last upgrade. Last upgrade. Last upgrade. Nobody buys the tier 3 after... nobody buys tier 3 Concussive Combustion. So I figured, let's just buff the crap out of it. So... I slightly buffed the damage, I buffed the healing and also made it do healing versus non-heroes at a 50% reduced rate, and I improved the spirit scaling from 1 to 1.5 when you upgrade to the tier 3. So it goes from 1 to 1.5, which is very substantial, and so I just want to see, like, if anyone's going to actually upgrade to this now. Because, like, if I buy Boundless Spirit on this thing and then upgrade that, it's 334 damage, but if I had 1.5x spirit scaling, then I'd get an extra 45 damage on this. I don't know. It's an idea. I figured I'd give it a try. You get some more healing out of it, too, because if you hit, like, the Walker or something, you heal off that. So, I don't know. Or ulting in the Overrun Throne Room, you hit all the... all the little creeps, and then you full heal. Yeah, I mean, like, it'd be cool. I don't know. It's something. A few back, in a stream, he said that not about patch, but on one of your videos where you talking about some changes. Okay. I mean, I don't care. From 0 to 100 to 1 tick. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'd be so funny. I remember Metro said that it was funny. Does anyone have a clip of that? I'd like to see that. That sounds funny. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have any other ideas for Infernus. I think this is probably just fine from the get-go, so yeah. A reduced cast time on tier 3 would be maybe more effective compared to bonus damage. I don't play much of Infernus, though. I don't really want to mess with timing on characters like this. I don't know. I'm just not sure that's a good idea. Allow light melee and dash? No, I'm not going to do that. I don't even know if that's possible. Okay. Haze, though. Okay, so Infernus, I think pretty much every one of these is rational, reasonable, very fair changes, and just testing this for the sake of testing it. And if it's too broken, that's okay. At least we got to try it, right? For Haze, I have a vendetta against invisibility, so I really just tore into Smoke Bomb specifically. So, first of all, I made it so that if you use an item, it removes invisibility. So no more going invis, throwing a smoke dagger, and still being invis, right? Just, nah, none of that. I'm not feeling it. I don't like that. I think it's stupid. So, let's make her more penalized for that. Fade time increased. Spot radius increased. But to compensate, I made it move speed instead of sprint speed for the base component. And then the tier 1 gives a little bit more move speed, but it's still majority sprint speed. But I figured I would just clean that up a little bit, just to compensate for the fact that this is greatly hampered and reduced. So it's more of a movement ability, less of an invisibility. Tier 2, oh yeah, I forgot, I buffed that. She gets a whopping 10% bullet lifesteal after Smoke Bomb. That's tiny. I made it bigger. And I also made it Spirit lifesteal if you want to play Spirit Haze. Maybe a little bit too big, considering it's both, but I don't know. I just never see anybody upgrade past the tier 1, usually. Again, let's do a build check. Let's see. What are people building for Haze these days? Okay, so we got this. Oh, it actually does go for stealth a little bit later in there. Stealth is almost completely abandoned in this build, though. At the very end of this build, pretty close to the end of this build, very end of this build, pretty close to the end of this build, very end of this build, very end of this build, end of this build, end of this build, end of this build. So, once again, I wanted to make it more impactful, because you are sacrificing damage if you choose to upgrade these. So, the thing I did for the tier 3 as well is I enabled 2 ability charges instead of 1 ability charge, because who the heck buys extra charge on this character? Why are we even enabling ability charges if you're not going to give her a free charge? So I gave her a free charge on the tier 3, because it's literally the last upgrade in most builds. I might as well give you a reason to actually upgrade that. Maybe potentially a little sooner? I don't know. So yeah, I don't like invisibility. I nerfed the invisibility, buffed other components. Yeah. That's the reason Lash needs the extra charge. Bonus charge? Yeah, we already went over that. Didn't even know Smoke Bomb had charges. Yeah, it doesn't have charges until you upgrade to the tier 3. And if you upgrade to the tier 3 and you don't buy extra charge, then you still don't have any charges. So you have to... Oh, guys, I'm going to buy rapid recharge on Haze. Let me get rapid recharge. Oh. Now I have charges of this ability. Look at how cool I am. For just the small price of 3,200 souls. And there's no spirit scaling on it either, and I couldn't think of anything. Actually, wait, no, there is spirit scaling, technically. Does rapid recharge scale the duration? I think it does. Okay, if I buy a different tier 3, if I buy like Torment Pulse or Tank Buster. Oh yeah, rapid recharge does scale the duration of that. Okay, perfect. So at least that makes sense. But yeah, I wanted it to have that little effect. Duration is big. It is, yeah. It's such a weird ability. It really is. So I wanted to make these upgrades more impactful and nerf the invisibility because I hate invisibility. I think it's a really anti-fun mechanic, but if we're going to have it in the game, I can't just make her not go invisible, right? So I'll just make it easier to play around for people playing against her. And then... No, I'm not making it scale the duration of the iframe window. Are you kidding me, Claymeister? Heck no. Ew. But yeah, then one more thing I wanted to do for Spirit Haze players. I just have been somewhat interested in Spirit Haze recently. I know I haven't played it yet, but I made a build just testing stuff. And I realized that she doesn't have a damage upgrade for the Sleep Dagger, so I figured I'd put some damage on the tier 3. And I didn't want to make it too bloated, so I cut out the fire rate. Because does Hayes really need that extra bit of survivability? She is the gun character. Why does she need to reduce the fire rate of other gun characters? Let's just add a little bit more damage here, you know? You know? Why not? Changing sprint speed to move speed on Invis just means it's now a good escapability instead of just a good initiator ability. Yeah, that was the idea. And to be honest, maybe I could change the tier 1 to be still sprint speed. Or maybe change the default to be still sprint speed. And just have the tier 1 be a little bit more move speed. Yeah, that would actually, if I got rid of this, right? Comment that out. And then I did this and made it maybe 3-2 split. Maybe that would be a little more reasonable. Let's do that. Because that was what I was considering, but now I'm rethinking how much I actually want to give her an ability that's effective for that, so yeah. Sleep Dagger already can hit really hard? Yes. But have you considered making it hit even harder? Yes, I'm a crazy person. I don't know. Spirit Haze just feels interesting to me because it feels like an illegal thing that you're not supposed to do because she is such a gun-focused character. But yeah, she has pretty good spirit scaling on all of her abilities, and then like... God, just 2.6. Like, everything about it just feels dirty, so let's make it feel even dirtier, you know? That's my thought process. Like I said, I said at the very start of the stream, this isn't, like, too balance focused in terms of, like, oh, this has to be fair. I'm making everybody strong. And then also weaker in some cases against characters that I have a vendetta against. So, you know. I'm getting pinged here. What's this? Oh, okay. Also, like I said, I do not know in terms of teleporting to allies with the Stalker's Mark, so I guess we'll get back to that. Okay, we already talked about Lash. Lady Geist, I didn't have any ideas for, apart from... Did you guys know? Okay, chat, how many of you did not know this? You can alt-cast the Life Drain to heal your ally. Yeah, it's a little crazy. Let me make this guy a puppet, max level, half health him a bunch, clear follow. So, like, I can suck this Abrams off, and I drain my own health and I heal him, and it's really wimpy and weak. And, like, does anybody actually unironically use this? When's the last time you've seen a Lady Geist use this ability in a real game? I don't know, man. You made a video about support Geist? Yeah, and it kind of sucked. So, like... I don't know. No one does this. Exactly. I don't think it's that good of an ability. So what if we made it stronger? Introducing the buff to Life Drain. Alt-cast does less damage to Lady Geist and does way more healing to the ally. And effectively, I don't actually know if reducing the self-damage would intrinsically reduce the damage to heal, which is why I made this number so big. But effectively what I want is, previously, if we had a 100 damage to 100 healing split, it should now be, Lady Geist takes 50 damage, she gives 150 healing. That's what I wanted to see. So, effectively, it hurts you less to heal an ally, and then your ally gets healed way more, and so it's actually worthwhile to use as a healing ability. This guy's health bar is just, like, barely going up. And I've basically just killed myself. And it takes a long time, too, and you're slowed the entire time you're using it. So, I think even with this change, it would still be drastically inferior to Dynamo, McInnes, etc., any actual healer, but I feel like this is the least utilized thing in the entire game, and I want it to be more utilized. So that's all I did. Otherwise, I have genuinely no ideas for what I could do to Lady Geist. So I'm open to suggestions for chat. Do you have any balance changes you want to see for this character? Because I feel like otherwise, I don't know, I kind of like her. I like doing Lady Geist things, and then ba ba ba, yeah, cool, epic spirit damage and stuff. Would be cooler if guys still sacrificed a lot, but the heal gave way more. Going 100 self-damage and 200 heal? That would be interesting. I don't know. For me, though, the downside of still dealing a lot of damage to yourself while you're healing your ally is part of why I don't use it. Because it does a lot of damage to yourself. And notably, right? if you do it to an enemy, it's just your health goes completely up. So I feel like the opportunity cost of using it on an ally is just too great, usually. So that was my thought process behind it. Calvin beam bounce, but on Lady Gaia's life drain? Oh, God. That sounds crazy. I don't think I want to do that, because you can already kind of do that. Like this. It's only worth doing when you get the tier 3. It's a waste to use it on allies. Yeah, that's why I'm buffing it. So... And originally I had this at 400%. So you would get 200 healing for every 50 damage, effectively, in this example. I don't know if that's too much, though, because that is a lot. I don't know. But I just want it to be a little more impactful. So, any other balance ideas? I only comment on characters I play. Fair enough. Meanwhile, I'm out here doing wacky, zany changes for characters that I don't play. Because why not? Guy Steel is a 1-to-2 ratio? Actually, it's a 1-to-3 ratio right here. So yeah. Seems interesting to me. Fun to hear the patrons say, "Guys, how unlike of you to care for others." Yeah. Hey. The rarest thing. Okay. Right. I did this for McGinnis, didn't I? I'm not fully committed to these mini turret changes. I will be so for real. This was me brainstorming some BS. But after playing the turret build the other day, right? I wanted to see, I was interested in trying, making the turrets much harder to kill, but then reducing their damage. Because I feel like the big problem with the turret playstyle is that the turrets die too quickly to actually be useful. So, what if we make the turrets tankier, but then drastically cut back on the spirit scaling? And also remove the fire rate from the tier 2. These numbers probably need to be adjusted, and that's why you guys are here. You wonderful people in the chat who know how to do numbers better than I do. They're going to be so OP in lane? Well, that's actually what I was trying to avoid, because you'll notice I didn't buff the base health of the mini turret. I only buffed the turret health scaling per boon and the tier 2. So you get both of these, like, actually ramping a lot later. Yeah, they still have the same damage reduction. I didn't change that. But yeah, we could change these. But, like, let's do some math. So you get, what, 33 boons? Or something like that, times 30? So you get 990 health, plus 150. So that's 1140 health. And then, what's the base health of the turret? It's 150, so add 150 to that. So that's as tanky as the turrets would be at max boons, which, bear in mind, is at 49k souls. So, that late into the game, is it okay to have a turret with 1000 plus HP? I don't know. Again, bearing in mind, I removed the fire rate from the tier 2 and I lowered the spirit scaling by almost half. So, is this stupid? This could be stupid. I'm fully willing to admit that. I need you guys to help me out here. 32 boons? Is it 32? I have 35 boons right now. It says the stat increases max out at boon 33, so... Reset hero, I have 0 boons, so I think it's 33 boons. Anyways, regardless, yeah, big health. Big health on that. So I'm willing to adjust these numbers, and I also gave her a reduction to her base health per boon to compensate, so more health into the turrets, less health into her. For some characters, turrets are unkillable? Okay, which characters? Because, like, whenever I see a turret build, I'm usually playing someone like Seven, and then, you know, like... I would love to see Seven struggle against Turret McGinnis. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen, because, I mean, he has all of the AoE. But okay, which characters do struggle against the turrets, then? I'm willing to cut back on the health per boon fully. I figured I'd go big and then cut back later. Ivy has the kudzu for the turrets, big gun, Inverness has dash, and big damage. Haze has big single target damage, so she can just pow, 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 pow. like kill each of them individually. I guess it would be more the support-based characters who struggle, right? But they struggle to kill things normally anyways, so I don't know. If they could scale the turret model by like 30% so they are larger, easier to hit, harder to hide. Oh, that would be cool. Maybe, I don't know if we can do that, but turret size per boon? Turret size per boon? Turret, how do I want to word this? New effect, turrets gain 1% size per boon. That could be funny. Lash if the turrets are spaced? Yeah, but who spaces their turrets, man? Bigger turret also means easier to hide behind. Yeah. It's just there's so many AoE effects in the game. Bebop bombs, Billy bash down, Calico bombs and slash, Doorman bell, Drifter rend, Dynamo stomps, GT can pierce, not haze, holiday kegs, flame dash and ult, kudzu, grenades and beam, bombs, slam, flog. There's just so many AoE. Seven's entire kit is AoE, so I don't know. I want to see a turret as big as Ball Viscous. I don't want to... I mean, 30% bigger is a lot, though. How big are these by default? They're this big? 30% bigger. I mean, that would be pretty wide. They're already pretty wide, and they'd be... Shoot. They'd be pretty tall, too. They'd be bigger. Haze can get Ricochet. Yeah, Haze has Ricochet or Tesla bullets. There you go. So I feel like it's not actually that big of a deal. Or as big of a deal as potentially it would be. Or potentially feared, anyways. But again, I'm fully... Like, if anyone has any number ideas for, like, oh, maybe we should nerf this from 30 to 20, maybe we should buff this from 0.25 to 0.3, or something like that, be my guest. I'll let you guys simmer on that, and come back to me in the chat in a second as I talk about the Heavy Barrage change. Heavy Barrage sucks. Heavy Barrage is really bad. Look at this ult. You get, like, a handful of damage, and you're really slow, and your dash is slow, and, like, oh no! This guy's too close to me, I can't hit him! That sucks! Wow! So I have to, like, back up, but then it's like, it's just awkward, and it's terrible, and it sucks. So what if McGinnis ult didn't suck? That's the question I propose to you today. What if this didn't suck? So, remove the slow entirely. Minimum range down to 7 meters. Heavy Barrage applies 30% movement slow by default, which was previously the Tier 1. Tier 1 is now the cooldown. And Tier 2 now reduces enemy spirit resist by 12% on hit for 2 seconds. The new Heavy Barrage. So basically, no movement slow, right? Let's get, like, Enduring Speed, Fleet Foot in here, right? And then, like, the slow is in base kit, so let's just slap a Mystic Slow on that, and then Mystic Vuln. Alright, so all of this base kit for the Barrage, and then 7 meters distance instead of 9, so it's easier to hit. Up close. Spirit reduction minus 1% per rocket? Nah. Nah. I'm just gonna give the full 12% up front. Because I think that's fun, and also way easier. This ult is only good one time destroying the first tower. Yeah, I want to make it better. And it already... Okay, in fairness, as well, Rocket Barrage can actually be pretty good. If you build for it. So if you max it out, you get Lightning Scroll, Escalating Exposure, Boundless Spirit, right? You get that stuff online. Then it does actually hit pretty hard. A pretty good amount of damage, like, look at all that. But with this change, it would just do more of that. So if you build for the ult, you feel better because, you know, your build isn't as worthless. It was already pretty fine, now it's even better. And then maybe for, like, a turret mechanic, something that still builds a little bit of spirit. You still have an ultimate that's helpful. And also helpful for your allies, too, because the Spirit Shred is going to affect all your other spirit builds. What did you discuss since Haze was... What did you discuss since Haze? I need to revise. I was gone. Yeah, so Lady Geist, alt cast does less damage to her and way more healing to the ally, and then McGinnis has way tankier turrets, but less damage on the turrets. So I feel pretty good about the heavy barrage changes. I just say, let it rip. Let's have a good heavy barrage now. Heavy barrage has been bad for too long. But then, turrets tankier might be... I'm fully willing to admit that this might be a bad change, and I might just want to scrap it. But so far, I'm not seeing that feedback from the chat, so maybe we keep it. Maybe we full send it. I do really like Gun Guinness, but I also like the idea of having other playstyles be viable on her, so that's really what these were set out to achieve. I like the turret change. Okay, well, that's cool. I guess we'll leave this as is, then. And yeah, added this new effect of increased size per bin, because that'd be really funny. Alright. Here's some more sensible changes. Let's head back down to Earth, and let's talk about some things that actually make sense, for once. So, we got 3 characters here, all of which I think you'll find these changes very eminently reasonable. First of all, Mirage has absolutely no incentive to stack multiple Scarabs on an enemy. So what if he did? I don't know if we can make these ricochet to another character like someone suggested in the Hot Takes video. So instead, I decided to put my own spin on it. Now, if you hit a character with Fire Scarabs repeatedly, it will stack a bullet resist debuff on them. So the first one still applies 8% bullet resist. Hitting a second Scarab will refresh the duration, and then it'll up it to 10. And then a third Scarab will up it to 12%, and so on. So if you hit someone with all 4, you go from 8% to 16%, I think. Correct? Math? Is that math? Sounds like math. So, or actually, wait, no, because the first one would be the 8%. So it'd be 12, or it'd be 14%. I can math. I promise, guys. So that would be a substantial increase to the bullet res. And then on top of that, he does still have potentially the ability to upgrade to the tier 2, get another 8%, so it'd go from 8% up to 16%, up to 22% if you hit all 3 of them, or all 4 of them. And then if you have rapid recharge, hey, you can hit even more. You can really just shred it. I hate Mirage, so I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, I don't like Mirage that much either, but I know it is a very big problem with the Fire Scarabs, and so I figured I would try to solve it. What does Altcast Geist do? Claymeister doesn't even know what Altcast Geist does. He's the person. He's the person who I said doesn't know what it is. Because I asked chat. I bet you didn't even know what it does. Yeah, it does this. You can heal your ally. So like if this Abrams... Oh, whoops. Whoa. Why am I back here? No, I don't want to be back here. Take control. Okay. And then take control of this, because I pressed the wrong button anyways. Okay, make puppet. Half health. Clear follow. So yeah. Drain my own life, heal the Abrams. Yeah, that's the alt cast. It's crazy. Crazy, man. Anyway, so yeah, that's Mirage. I don't really have any other ideas for him. I don't think Chad has any other ideas either. I think Scarabs need to be scrapped and reworked. Honestly, it's a weird ability. But I just figured I'd give it something small to try and make it feel a little better. Mo and Krill. I did another Yoshi change. So you know how earlier I adjusted Infernal Resilience by 1%? Just like Yoshi? So for Mo and Krill, what I did is I nerfed combo duration by 0.1 seconds. Because Yoshi. I told you guys I had some sensible balance changes in here. This is a sensible balance change. This is what the devs would do themselves. So that's Mo and Krill. Leaking Yoshi's next balance change real quick. And then, Paige. So I did some stuff to her. Really, I adjusted Defend and Fight. Again, I made it less impactful on lane, more impactful later on. Just a slight change here, where I nerfed the early barrier, just flat barrier, and then I buffed the spirit scaling from 1.6 to 1.8. Very small change. Yeah, exactly, Dennis. I nerfed her barrier. So, less barrier early game. It's now 100, which is actually less than Warden's, by the way. But I figure since you can give it to an ally, and then you often stack it with Guardian Ward, I figured, yeah, let's just make it slightly lower. I want the barrier dead. More. See, this is why we don't let emotional people do balance changes, and why we let sensible people like me, who have never had any bad ideas ever, do the balance changes, okay? Trust. So yeah, small change to that, but then Contra Dragon. I really dislike this ability. Because, A, it just is really weird to use. Like, the dragon just sometimes goes in random directions, and, like, I don't know, it's just, it feels really clunky to use, but then also, I feel like it doesn't have any synergy with her kit. Or at least not enough synergy with her kit, and the idea that she is a support, because it's a pure damage ability. It literally only does damage. And so I wanted to give it a little bit more synergy, and make it a little bit more of a supportive tool in line with her other abilities. And I figured I would just buff it too, generally. So, I slightly lowered the cooldown, first and foremost, and that's because I removed the cooldown from the Tier 1 upgrade. So the Tier 1 upgrade no longer gives cooldown, previously it did. And then, I gave it a 20% movement slow when you run into the trail. So, you can use the Conjure Dragon to set up for the whatchamacallit. What's the ability called? Captivating Read, that's what it's called. So, you know, you can still hit the Captivating Read and then throw the dragon if you want, but now you also have the option, if you want, to Conjure Dragon and then make it easier to hit the Captivating Read. And then, for the Tier 2, I still have the 2 seconds of Trail Duration, but then I also made it so that if you get hit by the trail, you get a 30% fire rate slow for 2 seconds. So, a little bit more supportive stuff, more survival stuff there. You'll notice, I made the movement slow 4 seconds, I made the fire rate slow 2 seconds, so this one is more so thinking like, okay, if you want to really emphasize the fire rate slow, because people are not going to be standing in this for a long time, this is where, like, okay, you want to root them with a Captivating Read, then hit the trail on them. So it's all about giving you options, and ways to play with her other abilities. And then the Tier 3, I just gave it more damage, because, I don't know, is there a viable damage page build that uses the dragons? I don't even know. This one's gun. This one's support. Is this a spirit build? Oh my gosh, this might be a spirit build. Ain't no way. Wow, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I dislike the ability, I want to make the ability better, so I'm making the ability better. That's my 2 cents. Considering support page players usually buy Slowing Hex and Vortex, 4 seconds might be a bit long. You think? How long is the cast time on this? I don't think it says. It's about 2 seconds. Okay. I could see maybe bringing that down to like 2.5. And then this one... What if we do 1.5 on that? I feel like 30% is a lot. And again, if you're... The idea is, the trail, like, as long as you're standing in the trail, it's constantly refreshing the debuff. So if this guy's rooted into the trail, then the fire rate slow is going to be applied for longer. So that was the thought process there. So I really don't want it to linger too much outside of the trail. So, yeah, we can adjust those numbers. Read up the chat. Yes, yes, haha. Rename the ability to Imagine Dragons. Haha, funny. Not doing that. Movement speed for allies like the Kiriko ults. Nah. I feel like debuffs are the way to go with it, since it's an aggressive ability. She already has enough buffs with her barrier as is. But yeah, buff this slightly, and then nerf defend and fight for the early game, but it can still be a little powerful late game. Do you think barriers should have diminishing returns? I don't know how that would work. Or if that would be a good idea. I would have to think about it. Can you please rework Victor's 1? No. I do have... Actually, I mean, unless you have an idea for it. But I do have a change for Victor. This is really more of a technical change, and honestly, I don't know if the modders will be able to do this. So, here's the 2 ideas I have. First of all, going back to my Paladin's roots, I want Victor to be able to have a 5-second window after death to activate the ability manually, so he doesn't have to automatically use Shocking Reanimation. He can choose to die if he wants. And if he chooses not to activate it, then 5 seconds are deducted from his respawn time, so it doesn't penalize him for not ulting. He'd still have the same respawn time as everybody. You know, normal stuff. The second idea, I want Victor to give souls when you kill him, even if Shocking Reanimation is off cooldown. And then the kill will be counted on the scoreboard. Because, I mean, my guy literally has 2 lives, and that creates so much pressure, and so much space, and just so much power, right? And so I think it's fair if he gives souls as though he died, and then he still just comes back anyways. 3 lives sometimes, yes. And I also extended this logic all the way up to the very top with the rejuve. So I made it so that killing an enemy affected by the rejuvenator grants enemies souls and counts the kill on the scoreboard. I don't know if the modders can do this. I hope they can, because I hate this. I hate that this isn't a thing. I want this to be a thing. So badly. Because the rejuvenator gives literally 3 extra respawn in place lives to the team, and if you kill them, you don't get anything, and it doesn't even... At the very least, it should be counted on the scoreboard so you feel the impact. You get to show your team, oh, I popped 3 of their rejuves, I got 3 kills, look at how cool I am. So at the very least, that should be a thing. But I also think that the souls should be a thing. And, again, to compensate for the feeding, right? Because sometimes you don't want to die twice. Sometimes you don't want to use your ult. That's why I want this window to be a thing. So that way he can choose whether or not to ult, and if he doesn't ult, then he just goes back to spawn, doesn't have to use it. Yes, we should punish feeding, Dennis. I mean, yeah, Victor's... Yeah. I've been saying this since the start, and since I am in charge of this balance patch, I want to test this, and I want to see how it feels. So, hey. I appreciated you taking cheat death out of the game. Ah, someone skipped forward to the item changes. Ooh. So yeah, those are my ideas for Victor. I didn't have any other thoughts for him. I figured just this alone will probably be enough for the modders to do for Victor, so I'm gonna leave that for now. Full souls on Victor ult is too much, maybe 60%. I honestly just want to try full souls. I'm gonna override chat on this one. Okay, what else do we have? We were at Page. Oh yeah, Paradox. So I resent that the Paradoxical swap has as low of a cooldown as it has. I've hated it pretty much since I started playing the game. So I'm finally putting the hammer down and I'm nerfing it. So I'm removing the tier 1, which gives cooldown reduction. So now the cooldown just is what it is. And then the tier 1 just makes the target slightly slower for 2 seconds after the swap. So it's a bit harder for them to get away. To compensate for the cooldown being much higher now. Any thoughts? Have so many Viscous ideas. I did a lot to Viscous. Don't let me balance Viscous, because I'm going to revert about 15 of Yoshi's nerfs, because I'm tired of him nerfing my character. Give Viscous a silly hat? Balanced? Hold on. Hold on. Alright. Now has a silly hat. Holiday. He gets to wear Holiday's hat in my balance patch. That's a good idea. I forgot about that. You guys told me. All right, we'll skip straight to Viscous. Okay, here's Viscous. I am a crazy person. I'm a madman. I reverted a lot of the nerfs that he gave because I hate that Viscous got as many nerfs as he did. And also, I guess before I show you the Viscous changes, let me tease one change. Express Shot is basically deleted from the game. In the sense that it no longer does that whole fires 2 shots in quick succession with more damage thing. This doesn't really matter as much. Honestly, I'm not even sure anyone's going to buy it. I just don't want... I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel like it's been a balancing problem. I feel like it's really hurt characters with alt fires. And I also don't like it on Viscous. I don't like the meta around Viscous where he just uses Express Shot and just does all of that nonsense. I want Ball to be back. And I want Viscous to feel better on his abilities, restore a lot of strength. Maybe he's going to be overpowered. It's my balance patch, though, so who cares, man? So, alt fire base damage, I buffed it slightly because I removed Express Shot from the game. Splatter, I reverted the cooldown nerf. I slightly buffed this by literally 4 damage, just because I think this number's ugly. And then I reverted the tier 2 cooldown change as well, so the cooldown should just be back to normal. Cube, I gave it more spirit scaling because I feel like it doesn't do enough healing. And what if it did do more healing now? Eh? Sure. Check Deadlock for the silly hat idea? Okay, let me see. Ooh, and Lycan said we probably will be able to do the Drifter change. Oh, that's exciting. Okay. Oh. Silly hat. Silly hat. Heck yeah. I want to see more Holiday's hat, though, because there's a voice line about that, which is really cool. Alright, let you know if it ends up not working out. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna just cement this into the balance changes then. So, let me do that. Stalker's Mark can now target allies. Cool. Okay, Viscous. Visky, my boy. Okay, so here's what else I did to him. Puddle Punch. I made the radius scale with Spirit Power. Someone said I should not do that. And that I should buy range items and then show the Puddle Punch. So let me do that. Greater Expansion, Divine Barrier, and Vortex Web. See, that's pretty big. But have you considered that we could make it even bigger? I think it'd be funny. And also, like, realistically, nobody's going to do this combination of items. At most, we have Greater Expansion, which, I mean, that's still a pretty big Puddle Punch. But, like, what if it was bigger? I just think it'd be really funny. The Healing Beam in there, too? Yeah, Rescue Beam? Yeah. 8%. Bear in mind, this also has diminishing returns, so we're not even getting that much for the extra, like, added effects. Divine Barrier, Vortex Web. I mean, yeah, that's big, but, like, listen, I'm gonna make my funny Goo Man funny, okay? It's my balance patch. I wanna make Goo Man shine. I wanna make him the superhero of Deadlock. Bring back Magic Carpet Ball. Oh, Dennis. I mean, I have. Okay, I'm not bringing back the ability to stay in the Magic Carpet, but I did buff Magic Carpet. So, hey, maybe you can buy it. But the reason behind this change of making the Puddle Punch have spirit scaling on the range is I want Puddle Punch to have some kind of spirit scaling. This is a similar idea to what I did for Lash. It just annoys me when you have an ability that you often want to buy extra charge and rapid recharge for that has no spirit scaling component, because an entire aspect of rapid recharge goes to waste on this ability. And I didn't want to give it extra damage because I'm already buffing his damage in other ways, and Puddle Punch already does a lot of damage if you build for it. So, instead, what else can I buff about it? Well, okay, I could give the movement speed slow spirit scaling. That doesn't sound very fun. I could give the displacement spirit scaling. I thought about that. I think the problem with that, though, is it would be really powerful and also... Oh my gosh, why am I not dodge rolling? There we go. But yeah, I think the problem with that is, in certain parts of the map, the knockback would be so violent that you wouldn't be able to control your rollouts. I didn't want to mess up what we currently have with the rollouts, because it's already really good, and it would be weird to, like, have that be more dynamic throughout the match. So that just leaves the idea of, what if we made the Puddle Punch bigger? What if the Goo Fist was, like, gigantic? The size of the Empire State Building. So that's what I'm doing. So, could be interesting. Could have used the spirit scaling range change when I got put on 160 ping. That's my first match as the Goo Man. Yeah. Nerf the scaling to like 0.05 or something? Okay, well, here's what we have on the Puddle Punch. So, it's a 4.5 meters scaling right now. If I get greater expansion, it adds... it goes to 6.1, so we get a little over a meter of scaling. Meanwhile, on the Puddle Punch, it is at 0.02 right now. So actually, you want it to be 0.05, that would be a more than 2x buff. If I have 100 Spirit Power, we get 2 extra meters of range on the Puddle Punch. And that's going all out on Spirit. That's like, okay, we've got Boundless Spear right now. I've got 92 Spirit Power, okay. Max level. And then I've got 136, get a couple more Spirit items in here, Rapid Recharge. So with 158 Spirit Power, we'd probably be able to get like 3 meters of extra range on this, which would be pretty big. Which means maybe, honestly, even point like 0.15 or 0.01 would be okay. But if we're playing a proper punch build, with like punch items, right? We really don't have as much spirit scaling. Like if I just buy Claymeister's build right now, we have 65 Spirit Power plus 20, so we wouldn't even have 2 meters on that. So yeah. Thought it was 0.2? Oh, heck no. I'm a crazy person, but I'm not that terminally insane. An extra 5 meters would be insane, yeah. I am a little worried about, like, the pure spirit builds, though. Like, what if we just did get Boundless Spirit? 129 spirit power, and then max level, I'm up to 172 plus 20 spirit power on this. That would be almost 4 extra meters. Double-sized Puddle Punch, and then Rapid Recharge would scale multiplicatively with that, so... Or a greater expansion, I mean, so... That might be a little silly. You know what? Alright, I have actually convinced myself we're going to bring this down to 0.15. 0.015, rather. But I think that would be really funny. Just to give it something, you know? Yeah, that would literally be team fight wide with this much spirit. But it would be really funny. It'd be really, really funny. You understand my concern, yeah. Alright, let's talk about the goo ball now. So, I am unhinged, and I am insane. I buffed the ever-living crap out of the goo ball, because I want desperately for goo ball meta to be back. So I'm gonna force goo ball meta to be back. So, I shaved off 5 seconds off the cooldown, reverting a nerf. Added 1 second duration, reverting a very old nerf. Slightly more damage scaling. I made the ball radius bigger, because I think it would be very funny. That's literally just it. I think it'd be really funny. And then I slightly buffed the tier 1 duration, and slightly buffed the tier 2 damage. So each individual buff is small, but it's 7 buffs on the goo ball. I want goo ball meta back. Please. Actually, I wonder, is Goober in a Gluten Snake server? Does Goober participate in these events sometimes? Because I think it'd be really funny to, like, watch Goober do silly things with this. Gotta say, the steering on Gooball is insane for a newbie. Give Gooball more maneuverability. I don't want to do that. Actually, I think skillish, you get good. That's my 2 cents. And also, the goo ball... Whoa, I actually didn't hit the wall there. I think the goo ball being bigger is also going to make it easier to hit the goo ball, and so you don't need the improved steering. And if you're stuck at steering, then you don't deserve to have a good goo ball. That's my elite, and by elite, I mean, like, slightly above average, skill, opinion about Viscous and his goo ball. Bigger problem with ball is that you still get bursted. Yeah, you can still die in goo ball. And that is also the trade-off with more radius, is you're easier to hit. But I buffed everything else about the goo ball, so, like, just go in and slam people, dude. Just kill them! I think that'd be fun. I'm Dave in the Discord. Just sent Stalker's Mark changes I was talking about earlier in the Deadlock channel. Interesting. Okay, here's what I was thinking for Stalker's Mark, by the way. Figure you can keep the other buffs plus change to affect teammates this way. Stalker's Mark tier 2 upgrade is now base kit and 20%. Oh, so just base kit fire rate after Stalker's Mark? Okay. Tier 1 is now +1 ability charge. Tier 2 can mark allies and share buffs with target teammate upon recasting. Tier 3 is now plus 1.5% bleed damage and improved spirit scaling. Interesting. Interesting. Honestly, though, considering what people said about the ability charges and stuff, and the AP, I don't think I'll do this, ultimately. But I'm just happy we can actually do the marking allies part. That sounds pretty cool. That's the gifts, bro. Okay, so am I a psychopath for doing this much to Viscous, chat? Let me show you the Viscous. All of these changes in all their glory. So, slightly buffing alt fire because I removed Express Shot. Again, remember, that's a very key nerf. You know what's funny? I watched Metro's balance patch, and Viscous players were still buying Express Shot even though he nerfed it really hard. So I'm going to force Viscous players to not buy Express Shot by removing Express Shot in its current state entirely. And so if people still buy Express Shot on Viscous, they better be playing Gun Viscous. If they buy that on Spirit Viscous, I'm going to shoot somebody. But yeah, Splatter, I'm honestly just reverting nerfs. Cube, slightly more Spirit scaling for the healing, because I think it would be interesting. Puddle Punch, Radius now scales with Spirit Power. Very small number here. You get about... Shoot, it's going to be like 1.5 meters now at 100 Spirit Power, which is a lot, but it'd be funny. Oh, I'm not showing the doc. Oh, right. Whoops. Sorry. And then Gooball, just a flurry of buffs. Again, nerfing, or reverting a lot of previous nerfs from months and years past, because I want Ball to be great again. That's my bias as a Viscous main. Any complaints? I'd still move the ability charges for Drifter up earlier if you can get in and get out, because I still feel like I won't upgrade it to Tier 3 until last. Maybe. But this will make the Tier 3 a lot more savory, though, so I don't know. I feel like I've already meddled with Drifter a lot. Ooh. Okay. Oh yeah, I did skip a bunch of characters here, though. Pockets. More selfish changes. So you know how they nerfed Superior Cooldown recently? And just all the cooldown items in general? I just reverted those changes on Pockets specifically in base kit, so now the cooldowns are basically what you would get if you still had that 5% extra. That's basically it. Except for Affliction. I didn't buff Affliction, but I gave 2 seconds of cooldown reduction on this and 1 second of cooldown reduction on this. Enjoy. Have fun. Congratulations. We're going to skip 7 briefly because I did some crazy crackhead unhinged stuff for 7. So let me show you Shiv first. I added Shiv's alt-fire knockback tech back. I don't know why knockback was repeated there twice, by the way, but yeah, I literally just reverted the nerfs to Shiv for the knockback specifically because I want Shiv mains to have fun in my balance patch. I didn't revert any of the other 15 million nerfs that he's gotten over the past several months. I just reverted that because I like movement. I did not remove Calico. I didn't give Calico any changes. So. Yeah, no, she's still here. What else did I do? Okay, last non-crazy hero change. I buffed Yamato's alt-fire boon scaling because, again, I removed Express Shot. And I made Flying Strike grapple to ally heroes by default because it feels good. And changed the tier 3 to have more damage and fire rate stuff. Just basically merge these two and put it on the tier 3. I don't really care that much about Yamato. I just don't like not being able to grapple to ally heroes, so I put it in base kit because, I don't know. Okay, I guess there's no beating around the bush now. I did a silly thing to 7, and I also ruined Sinclair. I wouldn't be surprised if people don't even want to play Sinclair in my patch, but that's okay, because Sinclair sucks, and who wants to play this character anyways? So, I guess we'll start with Sinclair first, because I think 7 is actually going to be fun. Sinclair, though, I wanted to try something very radical with this character. First of all, I made audience participation copy 100% of the cooldown, because I think it's stupid. It's really, really stupid that he's able to copy a Dynamo ult, use said Dynamo ult. Oh, it doesn't. Hold on. I had cooldowns on. Okay, do that. But he uses the Dynamo ult, and then instead of having a 200+ second cooldown, he's got a 90-second cooldown right now. I don't even have any cooldown reduction items or anything, and I have a 90-second cooldown Dynamo ult. That's not fair. That's stupid. I hate it, so I've buffed it, or I have nerfed it all the way up to 100%. So just a hard, stone-cold nerf to the audience participation. And so to potentially give Sinclair players a reason to play this character in my patch, I buffed Vexing Bolt and Spectral Assistant. I just put the range on Spectral Assistant into base kit because it feels really awkward only having 15 meters. By default, it's really short. I don't like it, so I'm making it bigger. And then I made the Vexing Bolts easier to hit, because I suck at hitting them. That's a change from me specifically, so I can get better at hitting Vexing Bolts. But then for the Rabbit Hex. Rabbit Hex is an interesting ability for me, and I think it's a really difficult ability to balance. Rabbit Hex, to me, feels like what Sinclair's ultimate would be if he actually had an ultimate that wasn't stealing other people's ultimates. So I turned Rabbit Hex into an ultimate. Kind of. It doesn't actually have the distinction of being an ultimate in the sense that, like, you don't need Divine Barrier to cleanse it, right? You can cleanse it with Divine Barrier, I guess. Actually, can you even use, can you use Debuff Remover to cleanse the bunny? I actually don't even remember if you can. I don't think you can. Anyways, yeah, it's not an ultimate technically, but I gave it the cooldown of an ultimate, 65 seconds. And to compensate for more than doubling the cooldown, I buffed the crap out of it. So, duration up 1 second. And if you have the tier 2, it'll be a 4-second hex duration, which, fun fact, is the same duration as the polymorph in Paladins for Pip, which this is kind of polymorph from Paladins. So, you know, I figured I'd draw from those roots again. Rabbit Friends item usage. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So, yeah. It's basically an ultimate, right? So, you have a 4-second duration on that if you upgrade to the tier 2. I increased the radius by 1 meter. I reduced the detonation delay. This was actually a nerf that they gave to him. I'm reverting that. I'm reverting the movement speed nerf, so now the bunnies are much slower. And I'm increasing the tier 3 damage amp from 7 up to 10%. So, way fewer bunny rabbits. Much, much fewer bunny rabbits. Much longer cooldown. Very long cooldown. You still have the tier 1 minus 10 seconds, though. So if you get this, it'll be a 55-second cooldown. But then, yeah, it's much more powerful bunnies. 65 seconds is brutal. Yeah, well, I wanted to make it feel like an ultimate ability. Like, Sinclair has 2 ultimates. He has his actual ultimate, which is the polymorph. And then he has his ultimate where he steals from other people. 65 is kind of big, you think so? 65 is the same cooldown as Paradox Ult, right? Oh, Paradox is 75, so it's still faster than Paradox. The other thing I could do is I could keep the 65, but I could make the buffs even bigger. I was worried about buffing it too much, though. 6-7! Yeah, but now he only has 2 abilities. Well, yeah, but both of those abilities are really interactive. So you have this, which lasts for a very long time, and you can swap to it twice. And apparently you can't upgrade it while it's active. You have Vexing Bolt, which has charges. So you have, like, this, and then you can, like, blast people. I don't know what on earth she's shooting at right now. Do that. Maybe do a little bit of this. Do that. So you still have a lot of buttons and abilities that you're pressing anyways. And then you just, I don't know. I hate this character, so I'm kind of just, I also kind of low-key don't want him to be in the game. He's my least favorite character from a design standpoint. I hate Silas from League because he can steal multiple ults in the same fight because of low cooldown. Yeah, at the very least, the cooldown nerf to audience participation non-negotiable. It's not fair that he has a 90-second cooldown on Dynamo ult. That should not be a thing. 85% cooldown would be less brutal? Okay, but, like, why? Okay. I ask you this question here today. Why does a magician deserve to have a lower cooldown on Singularity than Dynamo? Why? Why? What is the reason? What makes him more special than Dynamo? I don't know. You can give his weapon a little bit of spirit scaling. His wand does 100% weapon items. Oh, is it really? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, wait. That would actually be cool. Hold on. Okay, let's just... Alright, what did I do to Great Talent? It was 0.1? Okay. I'm gonna steal this. That's actually... I like that idea. Hold on. Alright, do that. Bullet damage, spirit scaling. 0.1. Now has. There we go. That sounds fun. Alright, and then, you know what? For Gluten Snake, 6-7 seconds on that. Let's buff the crap out of this. Let's buff it even more. Let's buff it even more. You know what? Half a second detonation delay. And what's the default damage amp? 15%? damage amp from 15% to 20%. How about that? Give his ult a dynamic cooldown. Its timer is based on the cooldown taken. Megwar? That's literally how it works. That's literally how it works. It's just 40% instead of 100%. I'm making it 100%. So its cooldown is the timer based on the cooldown taken. Yeah, that's so funny. This will also synergize well with the new Express Shot. Maybe, yeah. Instead of a 2-round burst, he should be able to charge his weapon for increased damage and blast radius. I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Okay, let me see. Sinclair doesn't have the kit that goes with the ult. He needs to steal the ult in order to use it. There is no surprise attack, and needs the enemy you want to steal to be here and alive. Okay. But consider it's Dynamo ult, man. Ugh, that just pains me. Don't mind Magician having a low cooldown when copying ultimates. Echo can generate her ultimate fast too. He can pick any of the 6 ults in the team fight. Yeah, he does get his choice of the litter. He gets to choose anything. Granted, some ults suck on Magician, like Never Let Me Catch You stealing Haze ult as Magician, but like just don't steal that ult, Fivehead. Echo Shard on Bunny will go crazy. That's also a fear I had, Simon. That is also something I considered. They could throw a weak Vexing Bolt projectile on there. I'd be surprised if they couldn't pull it off. Oh, that is true.
This'll keep them on their toes.
I don't mind the 2-round burst, though, to be honest. As far as weapons go in Deadlock, it is interesting. And also the thing about Deadlock weapons is they do still have to be somewhat responsive in order to deny. Page's weapon is like the least responsive out there, and that's kind of towing the line between what could actually be a viable weapon in this game. Rabbit Hex change got to be on his actual ult. Maybe hold off on the juicing. I just like the idea of it being like his actual ult, though. I don't know. Alright, duration change, yes. Cooldown change, yes. Radius change, yes. Detonation delay, did I go too overboard on that? It was 0.7 originally. Movement speed change, that's just reverting a nerf as well. Cooldown reduction items still affect the ulti copy, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. Let me double check. So, steal this, it is, I believe, precisely a 90-second cooldown. 92-second cooldown. Alright, now if I get trans cooldown, reset my ults. It is now a 69-second cooldown. So yes, you'd still be able to buy trans cooldown and have your ultimate be a significantly lower cooldown. 0.67 detonation. Am I just gonna make this guy the 6-7 guy? Alright, fine. Oh, you know what else we can do? 6.7 meters of radius? Where else can I add this? Tier 2 is now 6.7 seconds of duration. That's technically a nerf. He is a meme character, sure. Alright. Oh, you know what? Vexing Bolt radius up to 3.67? What else can we do? Cinema. Okay. You know what? Instead... Alright, let me go back on this. Does Tier 2 give the range? Yes, Tier 2 gives the range. Okay. Let's go back on this. And then... And plus 6.7 meters of range. There you go. There you go. I hate myself. I hate what I've done here. Oh. Oh. Let's go all in. Going all in on this right now. Let's do that. I don't think there's any way to do it for duration unless we do this. And then we also, I think, to compensate for the fact that I'm removing some from that, we'll make the tier 2. Tier 2 duration from 1 second to 1.67 seconds. This is the most serious balance ever. Where can we see this doc? Let me post the link again. Here you go. Here you go. 0.067 bullet damage per spirit. Oh, true. There we go. The modders are going to enjoy it. Gluten Snake's going to enjoy it. I know that much. Oh, I love ruining characters, man. Okay, what else can we do here? Tier 3 damage amp. Oh, I would have to nerf it here, though. I don't want to nerf it. I want to buff it. What can we do? I kind of have to nerf it, though, don't I? And you know what? Fine, you know what? I'll budge. I'll budge. I'll reduce audience participation to 672. There you go. 10.67. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. Thanks for solving my problem. There we go. This is stupid. This is so peak I might die. Can you give suggestion access via the link? No, I'm not going to do that. Don't want any accidental trolling. 106.7 cooldown. No, I'm not doing that. That's overkill. That's overkill, okay? This is so stupid. Why have we done this? I don't think I like the 10.67. I think I'm gonna make it 6.7. Just, it looks cleaner that way. Looks much cleaner. Oh. Change the name to 6.7. Oh no, not 7. No, not 7. Oh no. Okay. So that's Sinclair. You know what? I'm happy with this now. We've made a joke out of this character, because he is a joke in the end. This is stupid. Anyways. Alright, let me show you guys 7 now. So I had a really silly idea for this character. This is not a serious balance change in the slightest. That's how I want to preface this, okay? This is just an interesting idea I had to make 7 ult more interactive. And I asked them about it, and they said they should be able to do it. Hopefully. So, Stormcloud now has charges of Lightning Bolt. That was my novel idea. Because you know how 7, his ultimate isn't super interactive, right? You go up here, and then you have a 1 Lightning Strike, and then you're just kind of sitting here for, you know, however many seconds. 14 seconds or whatever. Oh, my Stormcloud just broke. You're just sitting here for a very long time. I mean, it's cool. It's very fun to see the big damage numbers, but you're not really doing much. So what if we did something? What if he was able to Lightning Strike repeatedly? Because it is kind of interesting how there is only 1 Lightning Strike. Why can't we have more? So, Stormcloud now has charges of Lightning Bolt. It starts with just 1 charge of Lightning Bolt, so if you don't upgrade Stormcloud and you don't buy Rapid Recharge or anything, it is functionally the same, except worse because I nerfed the numbers. The charge cooldown is 3 seconds, so a 3-second time span between using your Lightning Bolts. And if you buy Rapid Recharge, that'll then be reduced to 1.5 seconds, because that's how Rapid Recharge works. So, if you buy Rapid Recharge, then you will have 3 charges of the Lightning Bolt, and you'll be able to use 1 every 1.5 seconds. So, boom! Then there's 1 Lightning Strike, 1.5, Lightning Strike again in a different location, 1.5 seconds later, Lightning Strike again in a different location. That's the idea, right? And, to further emphasize having more Lightning Strikes, The Tier 1 also grants 1 charge of Lightning Strike now, and the Tier 3 also grants 1 charge of Lightning Strike, although you'll notice I did lower the DPS from, what was it, 50 down to 20? Yeah, from 54 DPS down to 30. I can read as well. I accidentally said 20. I did not mean to say 20 there. So we do all of that, and I did math it out. So the default Lightning Storm is, 8 seconds of duration? 7 seconds of duration. So if we are to get the Tier 1 and we have 1 extra charge, then we have ample time to use that 1 extra charge. And also, if we buy extra charge, we have 3 charges of the Lightning Strike. With a 3-second cooldown, we are actually able to use all of these during this one ult. We use the first one right away, then we use the second one immediately, then we use the third one immediately, and you have 1 second of leeway. So it's a little tight, but you can do it. And then if we upgrade to Tier 2, we have significantly more time to use all those charges. And by the time we get to the Tier 3, if we do also choose to buy Rapid Recharge, which you will probably want to do now, with a 1.5 second cooldown, you will have ample time to use all... Well, let's see, 3 plus 2... You'll have 5 charges. You'll be able to use all 5 charges during the Storm Cloud. I wanted to make sure we weren't going overkill with that, having too many charges for your Lightning Cloud. And if you choose to cancel the Lightning Cloud early, then obviously you're not going to be able to use all the charges. But, you know, that it is what it is. Yeah, it makes it feel like a real thunderstorm. And the goal was to increase interactivity with the ultimate, as opposed to, oh, I'm just sitting here now, doing nothing, except watching the passive DOT do all of this. Now you might be wondering, oh, is that not going to be absurdly overpowered? Well, it might be. I did nerf the numbers, though. So let's look at that now. Damage per second spirit scaling from 0.6 down to 0.5. This is the passive damage over time. Strike damage at base has been nerfed because I anticipate that you'll probably be able to get 1 or 2 extra charges in the early lane, and so I didn't want to hit as hard. But I doubled the spirit scaling of the strikes, that way later on in the game, the strikes are a big component of your damage. And that's because I nerfed the damage per second spirit scaling here, and I also nerfed the tier 3 DPS pretty hard. So between those 2 nerfs, you're going to be doing a lot less actual passive damage. I wanted to make the active damage a little bit more intense. And then I reduced the knockback of the strike by 50% and reduced the radius from 7 meters to 5 meters. So that way, you have to be a bit more precise. And also, it doesn't feel that disruptive to actually get hit by the lightning strike, because right now, that was a very substantial knockback. And so I don't want it to feel that bad to play against in terms of the crowd control. You're just going to be taking a lot of damage. Also, better cover denial? Yeah, I guess you can hit people kind of like knock them to the side, or... Yeah, I mean, you got options with the lightning strike. It gives it more interactivity. That was the major goal. Now, I don't know if I need to nerf the damage even more. There is a chance I need to do that. I already hit the spirit scaling, though, of the damage per second, and also minus 24 damage per second on the tier 3 there. Maybe I need to nerf it even more, considering how much I buffed the strike, in terms of having charges and having double spirit scaling now. So that might be a little too crazy. But it just sounds fun, you know? It just sounds interesting. And again, it's not... I would never expect Yoshi to do this. It's probably a really bad idea to put in actual deadlock, but this is my deadlock, so... Don't hit the damage more, it's good this way? Alright, well, we can do that then. But that was my grand idea. Call me crazy. Alright, is that all the heroes? I think I went over all the heroes now. That I wanted to change anyways. Yes, I think we did. Okay, cool. So, yeah. And rename him to 6-7. No, I'm not doing that. Sinclair gets to be our meme character, and that's it. That's enough. We gotta temper our enthusiasm here, okay? So, we can discuss whether chat wants to change other heroes in a sec, but real quick I wanted to go over the item changes, because I did do some of those as well. First of all, Mystic Shot now has Fall Off, because why doesn't this have Fall Off exactly? Don't know. Let's fix that. Split Shot. I don't know why they nerfed the cooldown as hard as they did. I reset the cooldown. And I got rid of the stacking weapon damage because I don't really think it's that useful. I don't think people really get much value out of it, to be honest. Have you ever seen anyone hit max stacks of split shot? I haven't. So I just made it give passive 10% damage, and that's it. Because I still think this item's a little silly. Unless you're playing Page, or like one or two other builds in this game. Are you going to play games today? No, today is balance patch. Making big balance patch changes stuff. Sinclair, more like 6, 7. Ah! Removing the stacking buff of Split Shot will also remove some bug with it. Nice. Alright. I didn't even know there was a bug. I just, yeah, I don't know. I saw the nerf to that and I was like, wow, that's a little crazy. Just want to make it more consistent. Not a super huge fan of the item in terms of practicality, although I will admit, this is actually... Garden Hose 7 is kind of cool looking. Not gonna lie, I kind of like that. Oh, and you can use Power Surge with that. That's funny. That's funny. Unmissable 7. Anyways, Weakening Headshot now works on NPCs which can be headshots. Because, like, why doesn't it work on NPCs that can be headshot? Just fix that. And I also extended that to Crippling Headshot, too. Because, I don't know, it's weird that it doesn't, you know? Blood Tribute. I wanted to try something funky with this. I don't know if this is actually a good idea, but I just wanted to see. Because I don't like applying a healing penalty to myself. So I figured I'd remove the healing penalty, and I'd make it do percent base drain. Has been used more, probably doesn't need a buff. I wasn't necessarily thinking of making it a buff, more like a power shift. Because the thing about this is, it'll do more damage the tankier you are, and so eventually it'll get way higher than 40 HPS, especially on tanky characters. 2% is a lot, yes. I did, again, though, I do math. I prepare myself for these situations, okay? So, let me buy some items, right? World's crappiest haze build or whatever, and then buy Blood Tribute. So, at about 20k, with, like, normal investment, right? Oh, I accidentally leveled up too high. I have 1700 HP on haze here, and let's go slightly above now. Let's buy a Battle Vest and a Reactive Area. Let's get to that Vitality Spike. So I have 2k. So 2% on this is actually around about 40 HPS. Because, well, think about it. So 2,000 times 0.02. About 40. So, as we get later into the game, yes, haze is going to take more damage. If we max level and then buy Vampiric Burst or something like that, I'm going to take more damage from Blood Tribute now, but the healing penalty is gone. So, if anything on haze, this is almost certainly a buff, because she can probably out-heal that. But on other, like, way tankier characters especially, you know, characters like maybe McGinnis, although maybe not since I did nerf her health, or anybody with a lot more health than haze, then it's going to be hurt. Maybe this actually makes Blood Tribute broken, yeah. So, I went 2% for now. Maybe I need to upgrade it, though. Maybe I need to make it like 2.5 or something like that. But the goal is also to even out the impact on your gameplay throughout the stages of the match. So if you get Blood Tribute really early on, it doesn't do as much damage because you have less health, right? Like if I'm, you know, 10k in and I've got Bullet Lifesteal, I only have 1300 health. So 40 damage per second is a lot, especially with the healing penalty. Especially because the healing penalty is also going to be affecting my lifesteal, which is lower because I deal less damage at this stage in the game. So I make it easier to use here, but then later in the game it's going to hurt more. Not having healing penalty is kind of giga. I don't like the healing penalty. That was my main goal, is just removing that. Maybe 2% health isn't enough, you're right. If we do 2.5%, maybe that'd be higher. Or maybe 3%. What if we just do 3%? Because then at that point, at 2,000 health, we would be doing 60 damage per second to ourselves, which is substantially more than we currently do, but without the healing penalty. Which, I just want to make it more uniform in that sense. Maybe that'd be good. 2.61. 2.67%, guys. Whoa, I'm so funny. That's comedy. Laugh. Ha 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 ha. I did actually have it at 3%, and then I bopped it down to 2%. And then I think we'll put it back up to 3% now. It's just, I need more input on it, you know? Figured 2% was a safer thing to do, until further clarification with chat. Probably meta pick late game once you get some sustain going. Maybe. Maybe. Although, like, okay, if we're playing Haze, 2800 times 0.03, we're taking 84 damage per second from this. Oh yeah, one more thing. I did make it current health, so that way you can't, like, kill yourself with it. That might be too overpowered, though. That might genuinely be too overpowered with that late game healing. Let's fix that. Remove Infernus and Haze from this game, and my life is yours, Mr. Chicken. Well, I didn't do that, but I did nerf Infernus and Haze. Infernus, I got rid of the spirit damage thing on Afterburn, finally. And I nerfed Napalm a little bit more, and I changed around Smoke Bomb a bit. Yay! Let Blood Tribute have that chance of killing you when reaching 0 health, and add a unique death icon in the kill feed. Yeah, you could just kill yourself with Blood Tribute. That'd be funny. Can you do that now? Or does it just turn off? Okay, buy this. Half health into Oblivion. Oh, you can't do it! Dang it! That's overpowered! I say, as Dynamo could blow on me and I would die. Current health is crazy, because the less you have, the less it'll sap. It's logarithmic, actually. Yeah. Yeah, let's not do that. You just stay at 1 health, yeah, but you know. He just tickles me. He shoots me with 1 gun bullet from afar, and I die. So, yeah. Alright. Max health at 3% it is. Let's make that more penalizing. Okay. Express Shot. I guess we can finally talk about the stats now. So, I don't like Express Shot. That's my hot take. I don't really like this item. And the reason I don't like this item is twofold. First of all, on a character like Haze, it's useless. Like, when is Haze ever going to use this? That did no damage, man. Oh, wow, I got 50 burst and I used a bunch of extra ammo. Half my clip's gone! That's really annoying. I don't like it. It's very gimmicky. On the flip side, it has savaged a lot of alt-fire builds in the game. They've nerfed alt-fires into oblivion. I remember when Viscous was doing like 60 damage on the alt-fire, and now it's so much lower because of Express Shot. So, you know, and it's also created this meta for Viscous that I really just don't enjoy as much, and I'd rather use other abilities on Viscous than using Express Shot in combination with a bunch of other things. So, because I don't like it for those two reasons, and really the only middle ground where I would actually maybe enjoy it is on a character like Abrams, because then at that point he actually does enough damage to make this worth it. That was a big burst right there, and I don't even have any boons. Because of all that, I just decided, alright, I'm tired of this item, let's just effectively remove it from the game, and let's try something completely different. So, I took some inspiration from the name of Express Shot, and the fact that it builds from high velocity rounds, and I made something that we've never seen in this game before. And maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be absolute trash and nobody's gonna buy it. Either way, I just want Express Shot gone. I don't enjoy it. So, Express Shot no longer has the passive, and instead, bullet velocity has been increased from 50 up to 200%, which is very big. And I figured it had to be big to warrant buying it, and even still, a lot of characters probably won't buy it. But this means that a lot of characters will be effectively hit scan, especially if you buy it on somebody who already has really fast bullet velocity like Vindicta. But on Kelvin and Viscous and other characters, it's going to make hitting your shots so much easier. So it's kind of a skill issue item. You suck at hitting projectiles? Alright, buy this and it fixes it for you. And I figured it had to do a little bit more than that, so I buffed the fire rate slightly. I also made it have the increased weapon fall-off range similar to Sharpshooter, because I figured if you're able to hit your shots from farther away because you're shooting your bullets and they're physically going faster, I might as well also increase the effective range at which you get to use them and have them still do damage. So you could theoretically stack this with Sharpshooter and get 40% weapon fall-off range. So, and it would also make Paige projectile fast enough. So maybe you would see Express Shot instead of Split Shot on her, or maybe you'd see both. I don't know. Could be any number of things. It would just give you a new stat to play around with and min-max if you want, in a way that we haven't seen yet in this game. See it being bought on Flight Vindicta? Yeah, I don't know. And then Sharpshooter, I also removed the movement speed penalty because I think it's stupid. So, yeah, Vindicta's probably going to love these two items. Maybe, possibly, potentially. It's just, I figured I'd make things a little bit interesting with this. And also, remove Express Shot once and for all, because I don't really like it. Always wanted a bigger bullet velocity item. I'm glad to see you guys actually like the idea. I was worried it would be underwhelming and boring, but I don't know. I'm all out of coffee and my voice is starting to get hoarse. This sucks. Spirit Rend. Also, this item, I feel like it goes very underutilized because the cooldown is so long, so I reduced the cooldown drastically from 2.2 down to 0.7. So you build up much faster. Because, like, let's say I'm playing Wraith, right? I want to use Spirit Rend to make my cards do more damage. Well, I have to headshot, and then 2.2 seconds later, then I get another headshot. And then it's like ramping it up, but it takes forever. It takes 8.8 seconds to reach max stacks, and by that point, if you haven't killed Dynamo already, you're doing something wrong. So, I just wanted that to be much more faster and responsive, and honestly, I think Spirit Rend also needs an update in terms of the UI. Because you'll notice, there's no cooldown down here. Like, when I shoot him in the head, it doesn't, like, show how long it takes to my next shot. And also, you would expect there to be, like, a stacking number above his head. Kind of similar to, like, Lady Geist and her amp, right? Like, why is there not one of these for Spirit Rend? That actually shows me how many stacks I have on it. I don't know if we can do that in the UI. If we can, though, that would be sick. Although at that point, you'd literally just be doing Valve's job for them. They need to do this. Like, straight up, it would just be great. The feedback suggestion, yeah, for real. Per target cooldown, right? I don't even know, because, like, it's really unintuitive. It's really, really unintuitive, because the UI elements aren't there. So I'd love to let you know the correct answer to that, but I genuinely don't know the answer. So, we need some love for Spirit Rend. Let me actually add a note in here. If possible, make the cooldown show on the bottom left, similar to other cooldown items, and also add a stacking UI element above the enemy health bar to show how many stacks are on the target. There we go. Because I don't know why this isn't a thing already. It's very annoying. That's why it doesn't show a cooldown on the UI? Well, I mean, okay, but you can show a cooldown on the UI, because, like, look at Mina. Mina has a per-target cooldown. And the cooldown starts ticking down. So they have the technology. They just, I think Valve forgot Spirit Rend exists, which is fair. I always forget it exists, too. But, like, what if we didn't have to forget that this item exists? That's my radical idea. Anyways, moving swiftly on, we have a couple of tier 3s here. Crippling Headshot, like I said, works same as Weakening Headshot. Works on NPCs, which can be Headshot now. Glass Cannon. I want to finally implement the thing that I've wanted to implement for ages. So, I made Glass Cannon have twice as many stacks. Hero kills now grant 2 stacks instead of 1 stack. Death loses 2 stacks instead of 1 stack. Each stack grants 4% instead of 8%. And then assists give you 1 stack. So that's why I had to do all this funny business with the stack doubling here, is so that assists can grant you half the value of a fire rate stack from Glass Cannon. Because it really annoys me that you almost never see anybody actually make Glass Cannon max out. How many, like, you need 8 stacks? You need 8 kills with Glass Cannon without dying for it to finally be maxed out? That's lame. That's really lame. You're never going to max out this item. So I want to make this item actually possible to max out. Just really slowly. You're still going to need 16 assists, but you can do it. It's possible now. So, yeah, I don't get why Glass Cannon is, like, the only thing in this game that requires specifically a kill. Because, like, there's so many other stacking effects that you can get assists for. Trophy Collector you get assists for. Moe and Krill you get assists for. Great Talonal you get assists for. Even Drifter gets assists, and that's kind of where I'm taking inspiration from, is Drifter, because assists only give him, what, 1%? Instead of 4%? And so I'm doing kind of the same thing for Glass Cannon, where you get partial credit for assists. Noob change, good change. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that. I don't think I need to do anything else. And then Shadow Weave, I decided to make it much more powerful by making it grant move speed instead of sprint speed. And also buff the melee damage, and then drastically buff the ambush duration. But then also increase the spot radius, because invisibility sucks. I just never see anybody buy this item. What are the buy rates for this anyways? Help me, Stat Locker. Items. Item stats. And all ranks, all heroes, buy rates. Yeah, it's down here. Oh, Restorative Locket, dude. I didn't even realize that's the least popular item in the game. Well, I buffed it, so hey, that's good. God, so Shadow Weave needs an update. I want Shadow Weave to be good so bad it's such a funny item. Yeah, well, here you go. So, yeah, Shadow Weave. When you're in Shadow Weave, you get 7 meters a second of move speed, because I'm changing the 2 meters passive sprint speed into move speed. So that's just a overall general benefit, but then I'm changing the 5 meters of sprint speed into 5 meters of move speed. I'm also making the ambush duration twice as long, so you get significantly more time to benefit from those buffs. And I'm buffing the melee damage to 35 because I think it's weird that it's lower than the other two values. Problem is that if Shadow Weave is good, it's the most toxic item of all time. Maybe. That's why I also nerfed the invisibility by nerfing the spot radius. So, yeah. Keep trying to buy Shadow Weave and then I run out of money. Yeah, it's kind of an awkward item. Maybe this is a bad idea. I don't know. I'm going to try it. Okay, I guess since we just talked about Restorative Locket, let me look at this a little bit. The thing I did to Restorative Locket is I figured 20 max stacks is way too many. Are you telling me I need my enemies to use 20 whole abilities near me to actually max this out just to get roughly the same healing as Healing Nova, but for myself? Like, that's crazy. Because this is what, 20 times 20, so you get 400 healing per stack? Okay. I mean, that's cool, but it takes forever to get there, and then it still has a 30-second cooldown anyways. So, I reduced the max stacks from 20 to 10. And I buffed the healing per stack and healing per boon, but only part of the way. So now, you only need 10 stacks, but instead of getting 400 healing, you get 300 healing. And the healing per boon is lower as well. So you get to use it more frequently. You get to use, you know, I guess, you get... What am I trying to say? Okay, you get to use it more frequently, but the healing is slightly less powerful than it was previously, but because you get to use it more frequently, it's still better. And also, being able to use it more frequently and actually get value out of it means you get the stamina more, too. So, just make this item a little bit easier to use. I also did some very tiny changes here. I figured I'd buff the health regen on Healing Booster because that just feels like the right thing to do. And then I also buffed Enduring Speed because... if sprint speed go to permanent move speed, why not make out of combat heal go to permanent heal? Monkey brain. It's a stupid change, but oh, what the heck, man. I'm being silly with it. Restorative Locket was good when the range on it was good. Now it's 30 meter range, which is way too low. Not even sure that Restorative Locket is buffed. 10 stacks is low. Well, yeah, 10 stacks, but the healing per stack is increased. So, it's just you need fewer abilities now. The range is still 30 meters, but it cuts the amount of abilities the enemies need to use in half. And this is especially going to buff it in cases where the enemies don't use abilities frequently. For example, who's somebody who doesn't use abilities frequently? It was like a dead third ability or something. Like Abrams. How are you going to use Restorative Locket against Abrams? He's got a 42-second cooldown here, a 33-second cooldown here, and a 185-second cooldown here, and then this isn't even an ability. So, instead of needing Abrams to use 20 abilities with his lane partner too, you only need him to use 10. So, Abrams using these 2, possibly 3 abilities gets you a third of the way to Restorative Locket now. So, yeah. I just figured it's probably going to make it a lot stronger. Okay, here's something I wanted to try for Counterspell. This is a gamble. This is a bet. I bet you, chat, that Counterspell will still be good, even if I remove the Spirit Power from it entirely. And I'm removing, in this case, both the Spirit Power that you get passively and the Spirit Power that you get from parrying somebody. I am of the opinion that parrying an ability, and getting a little bit of healing and move speed from it, is so gosh darn powerful that you don't need the Spirit Power at all. Similar to how, back in the day, Fortitude used to give weapon damage, and I was of the opinion that Fortitude would still be a great item if they removed the weapon damage. Lo and behold, they removed the weapon damage, and it definitely fell off for a little bit, but it's still a perfectly good item. I think the same thing is going to be true for Counterspell. I think Counterspell is bloated because of the Spirit Power. I don't think it needs it. That's my hot take. I think people are still going to buy this, even though I'm just objectively nerfing it. Counterspell is balanced because we forget to use that half the time. Yeah, I think it's a defense item. Let it do defense. Why do we need to give Spirit Power for this? I don't know. It really fell off when it went into 2% healing. Yeah. I also did buff Fortitude ever so slightly. I buffed the time it takes to get into Fortitude from 13 to 12 seconds. Just because heal troopers are stronger now, so let's make Fortitude feel a little better in comparison. Small thing. Very small thing. Also, I reverted the nerf on Majestic Leap because Majestic Leap is fun, and I don't like Majestic Leap having the extra 2 seconds of cooldown, even though it literally almost makes no difference. I have a couple of pet peeves with Yoshi, and one of these pet peeves is nerfing the cooldown of the fun movement items, so I'm undoing that. I also wanted to try something interesting with Trophy Collector. So I wanted to make it feel a little bit more impactful, both when you immediately buy the item, and then also when you have stacks. So I made it grant 55 bonus health passively by default. And then I changed the sprint speed per stack to slightly lower move speed per stack. So you actually get to use the movement speed in combat. And this is 2.4 meters per second of move speed, whereas previously it was 3.2 meters per second of sprint speed. So if you max out the stacks, you get slightly more move speed than enduring speed. Which, I think that's probably fair. But it's just going to be so much more impactful in an actual fight. And then also, fun fact, the way I've mathed it out, is that if you get 16 stacks of 20 health, and then you get the extra 55, you now have exactly the same health as Fortitude. So that's what I figured we could do. Yeah, I know it's not that much, but if you max it out, then all of a sudden Trophy Collector is a Fortitude for you. So that was my thought process there. Just some small buffs, but I think the movement speed is really going to make a big difference for this item. Because sprint speed feels like such a weird thing to level up. It helps for rotate speed, but it does not help at all in a fight. And so now maybe on a character who likes to be up close, likes to just run it around on a battlefield, this might be more savory. And it helps you collect trophies. Hey! And then for the tier 3s, I removed Cheat Death because I think the item is just bad. I don't think it belongs in Deadlock. I think it's hard to balance. And nobody uses it anyways. It's literally the second least used item in the entire game. So, no more Cheat Death. I don't even have any ideas for it like I did with Express Shots. Just straight up get it out of here. Remove Calico, please. I can't remove a whole character from this game, and I'm not going to do that. I don't know if the modders can actually remove Cheat Death. If they can, great. If not, make Cheat Death give 1 health. And that's it. So nobody will ever want to buy the item. Why not? Yeah, I don't even think Calico needs to be removed. She's kind of fun. She's just hard to balance. If you have balance ideas for her, let me have it. Diviner's Kevlar, I buffed it slightly. I gave it 15% ability range and a little bit more spirit power. In the spirit of having really big ults. I feel like that would be fun. What is the use rate on Diviners, actually? I don't even know. I haven't bought it in ages. Yeah, it is pretty far down there. Not a lot of people using that item. I think it'd be interesting. Inhibitor. Now, this is something interesting I've always wanted to try. Again, I don't know if the modders can actually do this, but if you can change what items upgrade from which items, I want Inhibitor to upgrade from Slowing Bullets. And then Inhibitor will also then inherit the upgrade from Slowing Bullets. So it'll slow enemy movement speed, slow enemy dash distance. Why does that say 1.5 seconds? I don't think that's quite right. Yeah, that's not right at all. What is the duration of the Inhibitor buff? 5 seconds? Alright, let's make that 5 seconds then. That was an oversight. So, gun items don't upgrade into green ones, silly. Well, green items upgrade into orange items, so we can do the other way around. Dev in the house. Or did you forget about the stamina item? No! Yes, Dev in the house. Yes, and you know what else? Extra stamina upgrades into a purple item, too. Make inhibitor an orange item? Doesn't need to be. Because it is mostly about debuffs and survival, so... I mean, maybe you could. How many vitality items are there anyways? There's a lot more. You could try. What the heck. Alright, you know what? I guess if we're already doing one impossible task, let's do another impossible task. Let's move it up here. Inhibitor. Now a gun item. Or a weapon item, I guess I should say. Can they even do it? Probably, actually. Probably. What does cheat death do? Nothing, because I removed it. I removed it. What it actually does in a match is, when you would take lethal damage, instead, you are immune to death, and it removes all non-stun debuffs. But you do basically no damage, you can't really heal, and you move slower. So... Oh, I'm gonna kill myself! And now I do... basically no damage. And I'm still very low. And I also barely heal during that duration. So it does allow you to have a chance to escape. And also crowd control is still fully effective. So the only time I've ever seen this item ever be good is on Dynamo. Because I saw someone go in, do this, they died, and they were still Singularity-ing. They were still using that. So that's the genuine only time I've ever seen that. So I don't like cheat death. I'm just removing it. Cheat death was just added because the removed character had it as an ability. Yeah, I just don't think it needs to be in this game. I really don't. Messing with stuff directly for the shop is hard, Gluten said. I'm not a modder and I don't know. Buy cheat death on Doorman every match? What for? Cheat death can't be good? Yeah, that's the bind I think cheat death will forever be in, is that 90% of the time it's going to be useless, and then if they finally buff it to where it's actually good, everybody's going to buy it, and it's going to be the most obnoxious thing you've ever seen in the game. And they did that with another item, geez, before I started playing, where you would respawn a short distance away after dying, and then you were just back. Yeah, Soul Rebirth, yeah, and they removed that. I think this is another Soul Rebirth. I just think it's stupid. I don't like this item at all, so it's removed from my video game. This is my video game, and I don't want cheat death in it. Alright, final two vitality items. Juggernaut. I decided, hey, let's just give it some buffs. I think it's a little frustrating that for an item that upgrades from 2 movement speed items, sprint boots and enduring speed, Juggernaut doesn't actually give you any more movement speed. It just gives you more slow resist. So I made Juggernaut give you 4 meters per second of move speed, because I think that would be really fun. And then I also made health regen go up slightly, because, I don't know, it's Juggernaut, man. And I slightly buffed the melee resist, because, I don't know, it's Juggernaut, man. But the main thing was just the move speed. Juggernaut is already very good. What? We are buffing Juggernaut? What? Really? I haven't seen too many people buy that at all. I was under the impression that it wasn't, like, super crazy. Where is Juggernaut in the grand scheme of things on this list? I hope I haven't missed it. Scrolling too fast. Ah, here it is. 52% win rate, 10% buy rate, 310,000 matches. That's a crazy amount of matches. What's the most popular item at in terms of matches? 1.5 million. Oh, God. Juggernaut twice as popular as Counterspell. That's crazy. Give those buffs to Colossus? Well, if you guys want me to cut back on the buffs, then I'll just give it the movement speed buff. Because I think it's fun. I want to go fast with the Juggernaut item because it upgrades from enduring speed, and I want it to have more speed. On Drifter, I buy Juggernaut every game pretty much. Cool. I don't know, man. I want to go fast. I like going fast. Instead of fatal damage, when you hit 25% health, you get a boost to move speed and defense, but your damage reduces and it has a huge cooldown. No. Also, this does only have a 90-second cooldown. Which, I mean, it's long, but it's not that long in the grand scheme of things. I just don't like the item. I don't want to have to think about it. Oh yeah, Unstoppable, by the way. I'm buffing Unstoppable. And the reason being is I hate crowd control. So, I think it's weird, like really weird, that debuff remover has more passive debuff resist than Unstoppable. So now Unstoppable has more passive debuff resist than debuff remover. I'm buffing it from 20 up to 40. Yeah, I don't like debuffs. Did you know that, Dennis? I really don't like debuffs. Which I guess is a passive nerf to Infernus if you're going to buy Unstoppable, right? So hey, whoever was asking for Infernus nerfs, hey, you stay winning. Blood Tribute Unstoppable. Heck yeah, dude. And I gave it more health because, again, it's kind of weird that it doesn't have more health than debuff remover. It's just weird, man. It's just weird. Unstoppable plus Spellbreaker basically blows up any CC. True. Exactly. I hate I hate crowd control, so I'm buying Unstoppable, and I'm never being crowd controlled again. Thanks for the Unstoppable buff. Go work for Valve, please. Yeah, like... Is crowd control not the most obnoxious thing ever? So what if it just wasn't anymore? What if you could buy an item where you just didn't have to deal with that anymore? And you know what else is funny? Back in my Paladins days, we had Resilience, which granted you 75% debuff resist. And this is still not even anywhere close to that. And it's still going to be insane. So, that's 80% debuff resist. Well, I think there are some diminishing returns, right? So, yeah, there are some diminishing returns. So, like, if I buy debuff remover and Unstoppable right now, I go from 30% up to 44% instead of 50%. So I think if you get Unstoppable and Blood Tribute, you're probably still looking at like 60% debuff resist max, I would assume. Which is still really good, but not 80%. There's a reason Paladins died and Deadlock is living. Okay, Claymeister. I think everyone can agree Resilience being at 75% was one of the best things about Paladins, because can you imagine if it was any lower in that game? Oh my god. No. Ooh. No, thank you. So yeah, crowd control sucks. I hate it. Let's buff Unstoppable. That was my thought process there, and I think that's fine. And then finally, I couldn't think of any spirit items that I wanted to tweak. Even Rusted Barrel is fine right now compared to where it used to be, and I just don't really want to bother with buffing that item or anything. And they already nerfed Focus Lens like 3 times. So what else is there for me to do except buff Magic Carpet? That was really the only thing I could think of. So I reduced the summon duration from 1.3 to 1, and I gave it a barrier back. Do you guys remember when it had barrier? Like, back in the old item shop. So I just figured, let's give it a new barrier. And I kind of just made these numbers up, whole cloth. Just, alright, what's Majestic Leap got? Majestic Leap has got 140 barrier with 10 scaling. Alright. This is a 6k, so let's give it 200 barrier with 15 scaling. Huzzah! And also, wait a minute, that's actually kind of worse than Spirit Shielding in terms of the flat barrier, but better in terms of the scaling. I don't know, man. Magic Carpet can have a barrier again. And also I gave it 3% more ability duration because funny. Make Carpet a 3k for fun, I want to see carpets? What? That's insane and unhinged. That's actually insane and unhinged. That kind of sounds fun, but that's insane. I don't know about that. It would be very, very funny. It would be so funny. I would have to nerf it really hard, though. Like, if it were to be a 3K, okay. Scrap my barrier idea. Remove the ability duration entirely. And then bring the spirit power down to, like, 6. And then maybe it'd be fair. It would be broken. It would be so broken. Crazy Majestic Leap has barrier and not carpet. I know, right? Remove all carpet bonuses plus 8 seconds cooldown. Now at tier 3. Yeah, you'd have to nerf the cooldown too. Oh man, okay. I guess we can have... Alright. Let me workshop what that would look like, seriously. So here's my tier 4 magic carpet. Possible tier 3 magic carpet. Removed duration. And then... What is the other stat on this? Bonus health. I mean, we can keep the bonus health, honestly. But then spirit power from 14 to 6. Cooldown from 32 seconds to 40 seconds. So... And then, yeah, we're not going to do the lower summon duration. So these are like the 2 versions of Magic Carpet I guess we could do. Comparable Majestic Leap but purple? Man, can you imagine buying Majestic Leap and Tier 3 Magic Carpet? Your map rotation would be unstoppable. Honestly, that would probably make the map too small. Because we do have to consider how it interacts with other items. And I feel like spending 6k to have both of those is like, oof. That's incredible value for movement. There isn't really another comparison to that, is there? Because the only other movement items in the game are like, okay, we have Majestic Leap, we have Warp Stone. You can spend 6k and get both of those, but Warp Stone is significantly worse for map traversal than Magic Carpet. And then there's Phantom Strike, but that's also, you know, the 6k. And then for the orange items, okay, you can get Fleetfoot, but again, that's not like Magic Carpet levels of movement. And there's no tier 3 for movement. So, besides like just basic movement speed that you get from other effects. So I really don't think that should be a 3k. Because, like, can you just imagine. Alright, here's my Magic Carpet. Here's my Majestic Leap. And map rotation. And we're just going, and then put that on a character like Lash or somebody. Oh, man. Which, I mean, it'd be fun, but even I have to admit, there has to be a limit to movement, and that's too much movement. Probably not balanced, but Aladdin. Okay, well, I think we should focus on maybe buffing the existing tier 4 Magic Carpet then. What if... Alright, what other novel things could we do to make this stronger? What if we lowered the cooldown? What if the cooldown of Magic Carpet was like 20 seconds? That would probably be way too low, right? But it is a tier 4 for specifically movement. Veilwalker's a movement tool too? Yeah, it's also movement speed mostly though. Not really the same as Magic Carpet. Magic Carpet with its 7 meters per second of fly speed and flying. Ooh, what if we buffed the fly speed though? Ah, but wait, doesn't this already scale with like enduring speed and stuff though? Like, what if I... Can I get Fleetfoot on my Magic Carpet, actually? Does that work? Oh, no, I canceled my Magic Carpet. It technically does work, though, so... Okay, we probably don't need to buff that aspect of it. Who buys Carpet anyways other than Krill and Magician? I don't know, but I want more people to buy it, so... What if we added more effects? More passive effects? What if we gave it, like, the Echo Shard treatment? Just, here's, like, 10% of something else, and then something else. Use Sweetfoot during the magic carpet casting animation? Yeah. 6k for mobility is just too expensive, so we have to make it really good. Alright. I'm buffing it to 18% ability duration, by the way, so that's 10% less than this. Maybe we should give it some other effects, too. Or maybe, is there anything it could upgrade from? Maybe? Make it a little bit easier? Probably not. Upgrade from Arcane Surge? I feel like that's not close enough, though. Buffing it so much it becomes a huge stat stick. Alright, so we're giving it a barrier. Buffing the ability duration. You know, we can buff the spirit power from 14 to 18. Let's make it an improved spirit level of spirit power. And then, I mean, cooldown reduction. What if we did cooldown reduction? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items in the game that give cooldown reduction. So what if there was one more? Evolve from Stamina Mastery? Oh, man. Spellslinger gives 6. What if I gave, like... What if I gave this, like... Now has 5% cooldown reduction. And that would also... Actually, it technically wouldn't affect Magic Carpet's cooldown. So, what if we did... Cooldown... Cooldown from 32 seconds to 30 seconds. Just a small buff there. And then... what else can we do? What else can we do for this? Reminds me of stat bloat on items before the shop rework. It does! Spirit power buff when the carpet ends instead of permanent? I don't know about that. Okay. There really isn't that much stat bloat either, I guess, because the barrier is part of the active component. So the only passive thing we're adding is cooldown reduction, which is very helpful indeed. Stat bloat is not the way. That's it, I'm buffing the movement speed. Let's give it 2 extra meters per second of movement speed, because that'd be really fun. Or actually, that's bonus fly speed. Let me... Bonus fly speed. There we go. Infinite carpet stats! Yes! Make its usability worth the 6k investment or lesser for the 3k. I don't know, because part of why people used to buy Magic Carpet, again, was for the stat sticking. I feel like that's part of its identity. And also, I mean, okay, so let's say we have like 20 boons times 15 plus 200 barrier. We'd get a 500 barrier from Magic Carpet now. So, I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? That was the identity before the shop rework, wasn't it? Yeah, it was part of it. We avoid stat sticking now? But what if we didn't have to? What if we didn't have to? You've only been playing this game for 9 months? What did you see yourself doing that made you come here to design a balance patch? Huh? I've been playing this game for over a year now. I've just been playing it for YouTube, like, for 9 months now, but this is a collaboration with somebody who wanted me to make a balance patch just for the fun of it. And it's not meant to be like a crazy serious balance patch. Carpet had duration, range, and spirit power. It was kind of good. Honestly, cooldown reduction is really good, though. Like, if it did have, like, maybe 6, same as Spellslinger, on top of all these other buffs, probably would be good. Because, like, barrier's pretty huge, too. I think I'm gonna do this. Kitchen sink of buffs for magic carpet and no other spirit items. Huzzah. Huzzah. Surely people will buy this instead of the next shiny 6k damage item. Well, I mean, would you buy magic carpet for 18% ability duration, 6% cooldown reduction, 18 spirit power, 100 bonus health, multiple hundreds of barrier on activation, 9 meters per second of fly speed, and a 30-second cooldown on the most broken movement ability in the game that you can buy as an item? Because it goes really fast across the map. On 7, maybe. On Haze, no. Well, that's okay. It doesn't need to be an item that Haze buys. Allow the 6k luxury mobility item usage of items and or abilities and or items. Not old style. But, like, how would you get off of the thing? Because using an ability is what gets you off of the magic carpet. I don't know. I don't know. That's it. Buffing it to 10% cooldown reduction. You don't want a dashing Infernus flying around on carpet? Yeah, or a viscous goo ball. As funny as that was, it's not very fair. Just a toggle? I don't think we should be doing that. Let's just settle for this. It's a lot of buffs. It's a lot of very big buffs. I mean, you literally get a free improved spirit now. And you get a free duration extender pretty much and everything. Shoot, you know what? Let's buff the duration up to 22. Why not? So you get improved duration, you get improved spirit, you get very small but still impactful amount of cooldown reduction, and you get an incredible movement ability with some barrier for the insane price of 6k. I think that actually sounds like a pretty good item. 6k mobility item, 1 on ability usage. Is it really that crazy? Yeah, it would be that crazy. Here's another idea. You want... So, Claymeister. You want the Magic Carpet Dynamo ult special? Where Dynamo is able to fly around on the Magic Carpet while using that? Or like, okay, maybe not an ultimate ability. What are some other broken abilities we could use on the Magic Carpet, huh? Hypersonic Gray Talon blasting arrows at you. Bebop can already bomb and then Magic Carpet, I guess. Especially with the Calico synergy. But then... what else can we do? Abrams Shoulder Charge, Magic Carpet. Lady Geist Carpet Bombing. Just spamming bombs on the ground while she's in the carpet. Or any character like that, really. Just knock him down. Ah, debuff remove and then keep going because you're still on the Magic Carpet. I don't think that would be very fair. Actually, wait, can... I actually never tested this. Is this a thing? Oh, it's not. That would be really funny. But, yeah. That doesn't work for the same reason Viscous doesn't work. Yeah, Holiday raining down barrels. Yeah. We don't need that. That would be too overpowered. She can pass by with Majestic Leap? Yeah, but Majestic Leap isn't Magic Carpet. Magic Carpet is sustained. Tons of time, just pew, 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 pew. We're still going. Pew. And Holiday wouldn't even be the most broken thing that you could do with that. Bebop bombing you without getting out of the carpet? Yeah. I mean, Bebop can already do, like, self-bombing with Echo Shard, and then do the Magic Carpet that way, or... like... actually, it's kind of tight with that, and he gets off the carpet. But, like, you can put the bombs on Calico, and then she can run in with Magic Carpet and go crazy. So, like, we've seen that before. It's pretty cool. Okay, I think that's enough time spent on Magic Carpet, though. So, at this point, I've put in everything into this balance patch that I'm interested in trying. So that's where we're going to open the floor to chat. Do you guys have anything that I haven't mentioned yet today that you would be interested in putting into this build? Because There are a ton of characters who I just don't have ideas for balance changes for. Like, I don't have any Calico changes or Holiday changes or anything like that. And the vast majority of items are untouched. So, what do we do? That is the question.
Aha!
Thank you, I appreciate that so much.
At Alex
Oh my gosh.
Papagiannopoulos 8083 donated 20 euros through Super
Slash
Chat.
to be parryable?
Remember to stay hydrated.
Can we even do that?
Greatness is a prison.
Like, is that actually a thing?
Nailed down by my hand.
Is that even possible?
They're about to pay.
At the very least, okay, if it's parryable, it's only the damage component that's parryable. Calico can't be stunned by Leaping Slash. That would be really stupid and would kill the character. Parrying Puddle Punch only removes the displacement. I'm a Viscous main. I don't even think that necessarily needs to be a thing. I've already given Viscous 15 million buffs this patch. Cat being instantly usable after ult is stupid. What's the counterplay? The counterplay is to get good. I don't know what the counterplay is. Okay. I mean, we can consult with the modders about this. See if they could even do this. Calico. Leaping Slash is now parry. Is now affected by parry. Remove the period. This will stop the player from taking damage, but will not stun Calico, similar to Puddle Punch. A bit too bursty at the start. She looks at you and does 400 damage. Yeah, her damage is insane. Any other ideas you guys have? I don't really want to do too much to this character, because I don't know what numbers would be good or bad for her, and I don't want to mess with it. I really have not been doing Calico these days. I used to do a lot of her, but not anymore. Don't know why they buffed Gloom Bombs so much.
Enjoy.
I don't know. They're really hard to hit, though, so I don't mind it too much.
The nerve of some people.
Just, yeah, man, she really is. She's kind of a stat check character. If you're below a certain threshold of HP, you instantly die. Otherwise, she kind of just is a little awkward, has to stare at you. Knock off 50 HP, maybe? Lower her base HP. 650 HP. Actually, what's her boon scaling? Maybe we could affect that. 37 base health. We could lower that slightly. Max level, she goes up to 1995. Actually, not terrible. Default Calico build! Yeah! I mean, yeah, considering how much mobility and the fact that she has Return to Shadows, maybe lowering the HP is fair enough to make her more dependent on the abilities.
Too easy.
If you're below half HP in lane and she has Cold Front, you are in get nuked range. Yeah. If she gets stunned, I am not gonna make her get stunned by Leaping Slash. That just sounds like it would make the character infuriating to play as. That sounds really annoying. She already, in some cases, gets parried during Leaping Slash if she follows it up with a light melee, which is a very common tech. And so if you want to stun her, count on her to do that, but she should have the option to not get stunned by that by not doing the actual light melee. Because I don't want her to be stunned that much. I know you guys hate Calico. I don't hate Calico that much. Not that bad. Like, hold on. Slash has a very short wind-up. Yeah, I mean, it takes skill to parry that, too. You have to kind of just sense that she's going to come up on you. And, you know, when she's in, like, this effective range, get ready to parry. And I think that'll be enough to curb the other burst. I think I'll just leave her at this. I didn't do any Billy balance changes. I couldn't think of anything I wanted to do. He's already really strong. I don't know what I would nerf. They already kind of hit the big thing, which is like, you can't use Blast Zone Sinner's Sacrifice anymore. I don't know what else to do. I don't have any thoughts. You guys have any thoughts? My head is empty. Cat reset from damage 6.7 seconds, so after all, you can still tag her. Oh my god. That joke has long been not funny now, Claymeister. Displacement is toxic. We could lower that. Specifically for bash down. I think Rising Ram should have it, but bash down maybe not. 0.4 seconds duration. What if that was 0.2? Alright. Billy. Okay, so bash down, displacement from 0.4 seconds to 0.2 seconds. Small balance change. 6.1 seconds is good enough. Oh my god. 6.9 seconds. Go. Bash down scale with distance fallen as a tier 3 upgrade. He doesn't really need more damage, though. I'm gonna keep it a $150. That sounds like a buff that doesn't need to happen. Take a bit longer until it hooks you in. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it becomes Lash. Yeah, Lash, but just better in every way.
You wanna play?
Can you imagine that? Whoa. Oh, that didn't even do damage. Okay. Yeah, can you imagine that just nuking you out of the sky for like 700 damage? No thanks. Reduce resistances on tier 2 ult upgrade nerf? Does that need a nerf? As far as I was aware, people usually upgrade these 3 abilities before that. Let me do a build check, actually. This build has it last. This build has it pretty close to last. Close to last. Close to last. 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 Close to last. Last. Close to last. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Ashdown's stun after 30-meter fall range. Ah. You guys are evil. Did we nerf Calvin's healing on his nades? No, I didn't touch Calvin at all. I mean, he got really big nerfs recently, especially to the dome, so I kind of just wanted to let him simmer, because I don't have any ideas for what to change about him after that. I actually don't even necessarily know how strong he is now. Still valuable, but, I mean, they did some really big nerfs to the cooldown of Frozen Shelter. Just removing that 45-second buff, like, that's crazy. Ice Path more slippery. Ah. Now you can fall off of Ice Path easier. Whoa. I am curious to see if Gun Kelvin's going to make a resurgence in my patch because of the new Express Shot, though. That could be interesting. Beam is annoying to fight? It is. 40% slow and 40% fire rate slow is insane. From 80 heal, no punch, to 60 heal from blasted. Reduce the base heal on melee. Would nerf is sustain a little bit. Let me double check the numbers on that. It's, yeah, 80 here, and 50 extra with the tier 3. I could nerf it to like 70 or 60 or 6-7 or so. No, not doing that. 6-9. Ice Path ally move speed higher? Isn't it already like 4 meters though? 2 meters move speed, 2 meters sprint speed, 4 meters sprint speed. Do allies get all 8 meters per second of potential move speed?
This city is my playground.
Alright, let me cancel the Ice Path, and if I'm just like running this, like I'm super fast. Alright, Abrams. Take control. 12 meters per second, 13 meters per second, 14 meters per second, get off the Ice Path, and then it's 8.5. Yeah, it looks like he does. I don't think we need to buff that, do we? Take Dynamo's not being able to use abilities or shoot and give it to Ice Path. Oh, gosh. Kelvin can't use any abilities or shoot. El Bozo. Ice Path is a worthless ability now. Oh, God. You guys hate Calvin. That's evil. That's about as evil as what I'm doing to Sinclair, man. Oh. Ugh.
It's in your best interest to stay
Calvin's own frozen shelter. You know, it'd be really funny.
in here.
You can't use abilities or shoot in Ice Dome. Alright, let's just stare at each other. Hi, how's it going? How you doing, Dynamo? Or better yet. You can't shoot. You can't use abilities. But melee damage is amplified 200% in the frozen shelter. Welcome to the Thunderdome! Burger boxing extraordinaire! Wait, that actually sounds hilarious. Wait a second.
Surprised.
That sounds really funny. Wait, where's Calvin? H-I-J-K. Okay, he's here. Calvin. Ice Dome, or a frozen shelter. Can no longer use abilities or shoot in frozen shelter. This applies to all allies and enemies. All allies and enemies have 200% more melee damage while in the frozen shelter. Ah. This is such a stupid idea. Immune to parry. Actually, can we do like parry stun is 6-7% shorter in frozen shelter. Ah. Gaming. This is such a bad idea. This is the world's stupidest idea. How much more melee damage would that even be? So we're doing like 3x melee damage? Ah, so that would go up to like 400 damage punch. 400 damage heavy melee, no boons. Oh my god. Unstoppable? Unstoppable is the immune to parry stuff? Ooh, everyone is unstoppable in the dome. All allies and enemies are unstoppable in the frozen shelter. Not the enemies? But, like, Kelvin still gets crazy healing, and his allies still get crazy healing in the frozen shelter, right? And it still blocks huge ults and other stuff. So, like, I want burger boxing. You still need to parry for the tactics, because otherwise there's no skill only who has more health or melee damage. Well, parrying still blocks the damage, though. You know? Okay, fine. Parry duration is reduced by 50% in the frozen shelter. Let's do that. All right. We'll tone it down a little bit. Actually, wait. I don't want the parry window to be reduced. All allies and enemies are stunned for 50% less duration when parried while in the frozen shelter. There we go. Wording. Read Dennis's last message. We need to kill Clay, I think. Ah. What? Okay. It's actually a boxing ring. Be so funny. Be so funny, man. Make the shelter last longer so the boxing is longer. Frozen shelter duration. What is the duration right now? 5 seconds, then plus 1 second here. Alright. Frozen shelter tier 2 duration from 1 second to 1.7 seconds. You might think, why am I making it 1.7 seconds? Well, it's a little hidden Easter egg, because now when you upgrade that, guess what the duration's going to be? Oh. The brain rot has gotten to him, yeah. I don't actually want to do 1.7. Let's do 2 seconds. Magician has to be our only meme character in this regard. Don't make Frozen Shelter longer, but burger boxing! This is so stupid. Unstoppable is good because you can parry an unstoppable puncher. You won't be stunned, but you will not get any damage from the punch. I think... Okay, if we can't do the less duration, then we'll do the unstoppable. If we can't modify the parry duration, then everyone is unstoppable for the duration of... while in the frozen shelter. We absolutely can modify the parry duration? I actually don't know. The devs did it once? Yeah, the devs did it. I don't know if modders can do it. We'll see. I feel like we're going to test this once, and then we're going to ban Kelvin for the rest of the other games. Can you imagine? I want to try this, though, with, like... Let's get Abrams, Billy... Just all the melee characters in the burger boxing ring. Just for the total memes. Due to the XS67 jokes, I have chosen to drop the collab. No, Leica, no! It's only Magician. It's okay, it's only Magician. It's only Magician. We need to kill Clay. Wait, Clay, who do you main? Who do you main in Deadlock? Just curious. Lash? Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, we need to kill Claymeister's main, but I'm not nerfing Lash. What other characters can we do? I didn't do any balance changes for Ivy. Anybody got any Ivy ideas? Ivias? I secondary main Calico? Okay, Calico is removed from the game now. What do we do for Ivy? I mean, we don't have to do We don't have to do changes for every single character. I genuinely can't think of anything for her, because I feel like she's overall a pretty well-designed character. Ivy's gun having no spread? No. No, thank you. Actually, it already has no spread. Okay, in that case, yes, we can have no spread on Ivy's gun. That's okay. Does it get spread if you, like, drastically increase the fire rates? Is that a thing in this game? I feel like that feels like a thing sometimes, but maybe I'm totally wrong about that.
Well, someone's looking at you, Saber.
Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's fine. I don't know. Kudzu feels way too spammable? Okay, but I'm okay with that. I don't know, man. Tier 3 Stone Form also turns teammates into stone and lets them recover a portion of HP. That would be so overpowered. It would also casually just be like Dynamo's Quantum Entanglement, except you'd cover a giant area of ground and then everybody would be stunned. Like, all the enemies. Just, like, massive stun there. I just heard she has less bloom on fire rate increases. Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, I'm okay with that. I feel like Ivy is an overwhelmingly okay character. Just, she's... I guess that would just mean she's a whelming character. She's a very whelming character. Like, I don't have any ideas. I feel like she's fine. Ult grab range more generous, but it's already huge. Look at how big this is. You can grab this guy from all the way back here. Just wanted to see more people talk about it. Yeah, I didn't realize that was the thing. So, fair point.
I'm not finished yet.
Tier 3 ult allows you to kidnap an enemy. Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. I don't think I like that idea, though. Okay. How about Mina?
You have excellent taste.
Mina's another character. I don't know how to balance her. I do not know what to do with this character in the slightest. So we probably don't have to do anything with her, but, you know. Just realized the value of Stoneform Tier 2? What does that do?
I'll do anything to keep the people.
Oh
of
yeah,
Spanish
big stun.
Harlem safe.
Yeah. The funny thing about stun form tier 2 is actually allows you to get heavy melee off like that, pretty sure. Might need superior, or might need improved duration for that, but yeah, it's kind of funny.
Really?
Melee Ivy is technically a thing. 1 stamina! Mina is no longer allowed to dash jump. Congratulations. Make Mina take off her coat, Claymeister. Claymeister, you're naughty. How dare you? I don't know. Maybe... Alright. Tell me if this is an insane idea. 1 charge of Sanguine Retreat instead of 2. Lower cooldown of Sanguine Retreat. Instead of being able to do 2 in quick succession like this, you maybe have 1 Sanguine Retreat with, like, a 10-second cooldown.
I go where I wish.
Is that a stupid idea?
Can't wait for the grand finale.
I don't know. I'm only 10% joking with the stamina change. Ah, yes. Is that a buff or a nerf? We don't know. That's not unique, and what's the reason? Well, the reason is, if you're able to do 2 in quick succession, you get a lot more mobility. Whereas if you only have 1, and then you have to wait for your next one for a little bit, then you're not able to, like, get up here as easily or anything like that. Like, it limits her mobility. So it would be a nerf. If anything, I think the tier 3 cooldown is still a bit low. 10 seconds would be a bit too short, but 1 dash is better than live version. Well, I mean, here's the thing you could do is, like, okay. You could have it be 10 seconds, 10-second cooldown with the tier 3, but then, like, without the tier 3, it'd be more like a 16 or 18 or something like that cooldown. What's the cooldown of Tornado, actually?
My options carry the weight.
Tornado has, wow, 32-second cooldown, and then it goes down to 18. Maybe we could just make it mirror the cooldown of Tornado, except she's way squishier than Mirage. Mirage is 700 HP, she's got 630.
She's gonna die.
Worse health scaling.
Fighting back is pointless.
I don't know. Tornado is also a knock-up. Yeah, so I think it can have a lower cooldown than Tornado. You want to nerf Mina touch the love bites? -2 stamina is brutal. 2 stamina is awful and 1 stamina is useless. For tier 3 at least. Ah, 1.5. Perfect. Nailed it. Sanguine Retreat is way stronger than Tornado. That's why I asked Metro to do on his balance patch. Reduce IV tier 2 by 0.5 damage. Oh gosh. No. But you wanted Metro to do like 1 charge of this, or There's a reason every build had tier 3 love bites as last upgrade. What are most people doing now? I straight up don't play this character. Okay, this one has it last. A lot earlier there. Last. Second to last. A little bit earlier there. Much earlier there. Pretty late there. Last here. This build doesn't even allocate it. Nice. I don't know. I hate abilities that just straight up remove stamina. It is annoying, yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Shoot then. I don't know. Do we try to attempt the 1 charge of Sanguine Retreat? Or just leave me in a B for the patch? Because that's really the only thing I want to think of. Because you get stunned for half a second when Love Bites affects you? Ah, yes. No. No, thank you. That sounds awful. So I guess if we were to workshop it, I think I would leave the other two. I think I would leave these upgrades intact. I guess Okay, Mina is here. What would this look like? Oh, not heading. No. Mina. Sanguine Retreat. Now has 1 charge instead of 2. Cooldown reduced to... Or actually, cooldown from... What's the cooldown currently? It is 32 seconds, so let's bring that down to, like... 20 seconds? And then tier 3 cooldown reduction would be reduced from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. Just as, like, starting values here. How does this look? Or just give Retreat a way bigger cooldown, like 50 seconds base and 35 once maxed. That would be the other way to do it. I feel like that would really hurt, though. People already get screwed by slowing hex, Mina? Do you think this would make her feel better or worse with slowing hex? Or about the same? Might be a little bit better, because what's the cooldown of slowing hex? Cooldown is 30 seconds, so you can hex 1, but then she'd still be able to get 2 dashes before the next slowing hex, I think, or something like that. But if she has cooldown reduction as well, she'd get even more dashes. That might be a little strong. Alright. Yeah, let's modify this. So, let's increase the base cooldown up to 28 seconds, and then the tier 3 would still be 10 seconds, which would bring it down to 18 seconds. What does she currently have? This brings it down to 20 seconds. So you'd get 2 seconds difference, but you'd only have 1 dash. That's actually just a pretty hard nerf at that point. Yeah, I like Ants the Modder from Gluten Snake, one of them. I think bats are fine as is. We just scrap the idea. Let's just... I don't want to think about Mina. You know what? Get out of here, Mina. This is my balance patch. I don't want to think about you. Oh! I think I covered basically everybody down here until we get to, like, this last row. I didn't do any Vindicta changes, because far be it from me to try and balance a sniper. I didn't do any Viper changes, because I hate this character, and I don't like her, and I think she's ugly. I didn't do any Warden changes, because I couldn't think of any, and then I didn't do any Wraith changes either. It's kind of boring. Don't really have any exciting ideas for them. Fix the 2 stamina unfun, but people don't even buy that upgrade in like half the daily builds. Improve Warden's scaling with his barrier, it's so useless. It's 3.7 scaling. Buy 1 Boundless Spirit, I have a 6'11 barrier. What are you talking about? That's kind of huge. I can mod, but I'm nowhere near the main modder. Ah, okay. I don't know who the main modder is. He's gun? Okay. So? Like, do you even want to unlock the spirit power scaling on barrier then if you're playing gun? And also bear in mind the gun does scale with spirit. You can get fire rate from that, so you could do like some hybrid stuff. Like my gun shoots much faster now that I've got Boundless Spirit. Look at that difference. Scaling with goons would be interesting. I like the idea of scaling it with Spirit, though, because I like the idea of really min-maxing Spirit and getting a gigantic barrier. Build 4.8k gun and rest goes to Spirit mobility. I haven't been keeping track of Warden meta, but... I mean, yeah, that sounds like a thing you can do. Let's see. Spirit Initiator. This is like hybrid stuff. You got 4.8k into gun and then Spirit stuff. This has some Spirit scaling in it. This has Boundless Spirit and some gun items. Metro's got Boundless Spirit. Ray's got hybrid stuff. This has a little bit less Spirit in it. This has Boundless Spirit, speed stuff, Spiritual Overflow. Yeah. I don't think he needs anything. Plus 2 charge on Vindicta tier 3 ults instead of more money? Oh boy. Dude, messing with Vindicta just sounds scary to me, honestly. That would make her a lot worse in terms of money scaling, but a lot better in terms of sniping people. I really don't want to think about that character. Warden is so boring. Yeah, he kind of is in terms of balance ideas. Like, I got nothing for him. And same for Wraith. Like, what do I even do for this character?
I prefer information retention.
I don't even know.
services.
None of these are even interesting.
Open fire.
She's just a gun. She's just a gun. I don't care what you do as long as you nerf Haze. I did some power shifting for Haze. Did some weird things to invisibility. Don't worry about it. And then Viper, like... Is Erlenmeyer still in the chat? Because he's the only person I know who would actually have any Viper ideas, and I just... I don't know. Rework Wraith ults? I don't think any full ability reworks like that are on the table, though.
Easy breezy.
Viper, ew, yeah, she's so gross looking. Why does she look like this? Give her a real model, and then maybe I'll be a tiny bit more interested in the character. Why does she look like this?
Gets easier every time.
Any thoughts? Head empty? Blue Poison Dart Frog Skin for her. Make petrified targets not heal. Can they heal?
Don't screw this up.
Hold on. Alright, make Mimic. Alright, do that.
Having fun now.
Well, I mean, that just shut that off completely. I think we need McGinnis, then. McGinnis.
You won't regret this.
As enemy. Take control. Oh, wait, no, that... whatever, I guess it's fine.
We're staying.
Do this. Make Puppet. I am still healing. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess we can do that. Sounds reasonable to me. You're petrified, you can't take damage, you shouldn't be able to heal either. Alright. Viper. Enemies. Or actually, what's it called? Petrifying Bola. Enemies are affected by 100% anti-heal while... Or I guess it should be like for the duration of the petrify. Well, I guess what is the petrify duration? Oh my gosh, what is she doing right now? Wait, what is she doing right now? Why is she stroking her gun? What is my character doing? Viper, please. Viper is preparing for lash. Oh god. Oh, I fixed it. Okay. Oh man. Oh man. Slorking it. Oh god. Okay. So, enemies are not able to heal for the duration of the petrify. Any other ideas? Swap tier 3 out with tier 2. Oh gosh. Tier 3 feels like the big upgrade that you would want at a tier 3, though. In terms of just the vibes, because it's really powerful. Or we could put it into base kit! Yeah, that's the buff that she needs. No, she doesn't really need that. Erlenmeyer can't even think of any more ideas. Okay, I'm just gonna do the anti-heal thing, and then that's it. And that's last call for heroes, so I guess we're basically done. Unless anybody has any ideas for any items that I didn't already cover. I have one with Warden. Alright. Give it to me, Devin. Weighted shots buff? What would you buff about it? Don't make the ult go on cooldown if you get stunned out of a cast. Fully? That's a really, really big buff. I think the problem with that is, obviously when you're casting it, when you're channeling it, you still get access to all of that spirit resist and bullet resist. You're basically immortal while you're channeling it. And so you still are technically getting some value out of it. Which is why I think the partial cooldown existed in the first place back in the day. I wonder if we can bring that back. Because there are some deprecated things like 7's self-stun that the modders just straight up said, no, we can't add that back. So I don't know if we can add a second cooldown to last stand back, or if that functionality is just gone now. Partial felt so good. I mean, yeah, we could change that. What should the cooldown be then? 30 seconds? Don't know. Don't know what I want to do. Warden. Last stand. Now goes on a 30-second cooldown if interrupted while channeling. 30 sounds good. Yes, because Devin can't decide. Ah, nice. Weighted shots, 15 stamina recovery instead of 20? Could be. Weighted shots. Boom. Weighted shots. Or we can make it 16 like the other buffs. I don't know about that. Dagger tier 2 also reduce spirit resistance. Ooh, that could be interesting. 16.7 Claymeister. I'm going to remove your modding privileges. Or your moderation privileges. Oh. Alright, I'll do 16%, I think, just because of consistency. And then Viper. Screw jab dagger. Let me look at the wording of that real quick. Screw jab dagger. On hit, -8 bullet resist and -5 bullet resist per stack. So that should be spirit resist as well. Screw jab dagger. Tier 2 now also applies to spirit resistance. How long does this last, though? 10-second stack duration. Is it really for the full duration? It looks like it is. In which case, that's a disgusting amount of time to lower both the resistances by that much. So... yeah, that's kind of crazy. That seems a bit much. I'd have to reduce the resistances then. How many stacks do we have? 3 max stacks. So that's, geez, 23% resist? That's pretty crazy, considering that's also going to apply to all the other teammates who shoot that person. Yeah, that'd be way too much, I think. Tier 2 better than Tier 3. Yeah. I'm going to say no to that. That sounds kind of disgusting. Remove Claymeister from the game. Yay! I like how Last Stand can be countered. It feels so frustrating when you manage to cancel Warden from clutching the team fight, and yet he still clutches his ult right after the stun. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. At bare minimum, 30-second cooldown, if not more, if interrupted. Because that still basically takes it out for that team fight. Unless the team fight is still going 30 seconds later, in which case, okay, I think it's fine to let him have his ult for that. Because it's 155 seconds by default, are you kidding me? That's crazy, man. I am not in the game, I am in your brain. What? Any other items, though? Any other items? Last chance, otherwise, I'm shutting it down. It's the end of the balance patch. Ooh. Any green items need changing? Anybody? Any thoughts? I'm struggling to think of any. There's certainly a way to do it if you look at the pick rates. Which is, I don't know. I don't know. Some items with low pick rates still have reasons to be picked. I couldn't think of any spirit items the first time anyways, apart from Magic Carpet. I don't think any of these need changes right now. At least no changes that I can give, and that would make sense. Try to balance some items like Return Fire and Colossus. Well, they just buffed Return to Fire, and then Colossus is fine already, so... Like, I don't even know what I would do for Colossus. It's already fine. What do you mean it would be too much? Viper players can't aim, that's why they play her. Okay, but yeah, like, imagine she hits 3 stacks on somebody, and then her teammates come in, and you have a target primed with 23% reduced spirit damage reduction and bullet damage reduction. That would just be crazy. Increase the duration or cooldown? But Colossus is fine. Make Disarming Hex a wave like Silence Wave. I actually had considered that, but Disarming Hex is also, like, kind of okay right now. So I don't know. Like Mow and Krill? Yeah, but then you'd kind of just be able to buy a Mow and Krill ability. Do we really want to do that? I don't know. I think I'm about ready to call the patch done. So, I guess to summarize everything we've done today. Rejuvenator. Now grants souls when you kill somebody, and the kill is counted on the scoreboard. They still revive in place, but you actually get something for killing them now. Abrams now is able to heavy melee people after ults, and Infernal Resilience is better by 1%. Bebop, I made the hook much less impactful, but I buffed the crap out of Exploding Uppercut. He gets heavy melee damage now, and Bomb Bop is also way better. Although it can still be countered by Counterspell and Debuff Remover, but it's just, if they aren't able to counter it, it does way more damage now. Bailey, slightly less displacement. Calico is able to be parry during Leaping Slash, but it won't stun her. Drifter got a couple of small gun nerfs. Tier 3 Rend is now heavy melee damage and gives a little bit of lifesteal. Stalker's Mark allows you to target an ally with Stalker's Mark to teleport to them, and also share the Tier 2 buff with them. And also, Isolation is easier to use, and enemies affected by Eternal Night are considered isolated. Dynamo is able to full move and use abilities from the get-go with Rejuvenating Aura, because it's really annoying that you can't. And to compensate, I slightly nerf the Tier 1 until you get to the Tier 3, in which case the 4 meters per second is restored. Great Talon does slightly more bullet damage, spirit scaling, and Rain of Arrows is stronger now with more multi-shot at the Tier 3. And Spirit Snare also reduces resistances. Spirit resist too. Bro, you self-bomb. Yes, they can still counterspell self-bomb. Haze! Tier 3, I swapped out the minus 40% fire rate debuff for a little bit more damage on the dagger because Spirit Haze is funny. And Smoke Bomb, I drastically nerfed the invisibility, but I gave it more move speed instead of sprint speed, and slightly buffed the other 2 upgrades. In Furnace, I removed the Silencer in base kit, and I replaced it with a much more tame effect, slightly adjusted some numbers, slightly buffed the Tier 3 Concussive Combustion, because nobody uses that upgrade, and then I also added an interesting effect where light melee and heavy melee hits can now build or refresh Afterburn, because I think it'd be really interesting to give it a try. Kelvin! I don't know if I'm actually gonna... This is a stupid idea. It sounds fun to try once, and then probably remove this change immediately after, but... We now have WWE Kelvin, where Frozen Shelter is now a wrestling dome, and you are no longer able to use abilities or shoot in Frozen Shelter, and everybody does 200% more melee damage in Frozen Shelter, because burger boxing. It's such a stupid idea. 200% plus parry plus melee items might one-shot some people. Yeah! It's such a bad idea. I think this is genuinely one of those things. We're going to play with it once. We're going to realize it's the stupidest thing in the world, and then we're going to immediately remove it. But then Lady Geist. Life Drain. The alt cast is now much more effective of a healing ability. Lash now has a charge of grapple on the Tier 1 upgrade, and No, just the tier 1 upgrade. And cast range now also scales with Spirit, because I wanted a Spirit scaling component. It did not have a Spirit scaling component. And I also made Flog more reliable in the early game in terms of the attack angle, because it feels buggy when you are in the early game and you miss something that feels like you shouldn't have missed, so I just fixed that. McGinnis, I had a very strange idea to give the turrets way more health, but then reduce their damage substantially, and chat seemed okay with that, so we're keeping it. And then Heavy Barrage, I'm buffing the crap out of it. No longer slowed, minimum range reduced. Heavy Barrage now applies slow intrinsically, tier 1 is now the cooldown reduction, and then tier 2 now reduces enemy spirit resist for 2 seconds on hit. Mirage is now able to stack fire scarabs on somebody, so you get 2% additional bullet resist debuff after the first scarab hits. So for the default 8% bullet resist for the tier 1 scarab, or tier 0 scarab, I guess. You start at 8%, and then subsequent will add 2%, so you can get up to a maximum of 14%, without any extra charges or any funny business. Moan Krill slightly nerfed the combo because it's a certified Yoshi classic. Page, I nerfed the barrier in the early game, but restored some of the power in the mid to late game, and I made Conjure Dragon more of a supportive tool that now applies debuffs with the tier 1 and tier 2 upgrades, and it has more synergy now with the Captivating Reed in terms of the movement slow, and then the fire rate slow, and then the tier 3 does more damage. Paradox, I don't like how low the cooldown is on her ult, so I removed the cooldown reduction from the tier 1 and made it slow people instead for 2 seconds after swapping them. So, yeah. Buffing Pocket is wild. You think so? Because they got pretty substantial cooldown nerfs recently. I'm just giving that 5% back that they were missing from superior cooldown. I don't know, man. 7. Really silly idea. This is another very silly thing, kind of similar to the Calvin change, where now he has charges of Lightning Bolt, starts with 1 charge, can get more charges with Rapid Recharge. Charge cooldown is 3 seconds, reduced to 1.5 seconds with Rapid Recharge. I adjusted the damage accordingly and the knockback and stuff, and he can get 2 additional charges from the tier 1 and tier 3 upgrade. Shiv, I gave him his movement tech back. Congratulations, you're welcome, Shiv mains. Sinclair. Oh, God. This is terrible. This really is 6 Claire. Oh, God. So he has bullet damage spirit scaling at a rate of 0.067. Vexing bullet radius has been buffed from 3.2 meters to 3.67 meters. Spectral Assistant, tier 2 is now 6.7 seconds extra duration and 6.7 meters of range. Rabbit Hex has a 67-second cooldown. The duration has been increased from 2 seconds to 2.67 seconds. Tier 2 duration from 1 second to 1.67 seconds. Radius from 6 meters up to 6.7 seconds. Detonation delay down from 0.9 to 0.67 seconds. Movement speed down to 16.7 seconds. Damage amp up from 15 to 16.7. Tier 3 damage amp down to 6.7. And the audience participation copied cooldown is up to 67%. I hate everything about this. And that's why it's so good. Sinclair players found in a back alley after these changes. It's... yeah, don't worry about it. Victor. Victor will not automatically activate Shocking Reanimation. Instead, he has a 5-second window after death to activate the ability manually. Similar to Terminus Ult from the game that I used to play, Paladins. If he chooses not to activate it, 5 seconds will be deducted from his respawn time, so effectively the respawn time should be the same if he chooses not to use it. Killing Victor when Shocking Reanimation is off cooldown now grants enemy souls as though they killed or assisted in killing him. So, same thing as basically what I did to the Rejuvenator. You get kills for killing him even if he does revive after. Viscous now has a silly hat. I buffed his alt fire slightly because I basically removed Express Shot from the game in its current form. Splatter, I reverted nerfs because... what the heck, Yoshi? I buffed the healing scaling on the cube because I thought it would be interesting. I gave Puddle Punch a spirit scaling component. The radius now scales with spirit power because I think it would be really funny. And then I gave 7 different buffs to the Goo Ball. And some of these are reverting old nerfs. Some of these are buffing the crap out of it because I want ball meta to be back, and so I'm going to force ball meta to be back because I think ball is fun. Viper, we are making enemies not affected by healing for the duration of the Petrify. If they can't be damaged, then they can't be healed. Makes sense. Warden, we are restoring the 30-second cooldown, or just, lower cooldown if interrupted while channeling the original wind-up, right? And then Yamato giving a little bit more alt-fire boon scaling and allowing her to grapple to ally heroes from the get-go with Flying Strike because, yeah. Totally not biased, yeah. Bro, it depresses me seeing Viscous get nerfed like 7 patches in a row, and so I'm making a balanced patch. I want Viscous to be strong. Why does McInnes have the turret size scaling again? Just for the hitbox to compensate the beefiness? Yeah, it was an idea that chat had that I thought was interesting, so I added it. And so she should end up getting 33% extra size by the time she has max boons. Anyways, items. Mystic Shot now has Fall Off. Split Shot has the stacking damage removed, now just has flat 10, and the cooldown has been reduced by 12 seconds. Weakening Headshot now works on NPCs which can be headshot. Blood Tribute no longer has a healing penalty, but instead drains 3% of your max health per second. So, in the super early game, it'll be less of a penalty, but in the late game, it'll be much more of a penalty. Express Shot no longer has a passive. Instead, it grants 200% bullet velocity, 10% fire rate, and 20% increased weapon fall-off range. Sharpshooter no longer reduces move speed. Spirit Rend has a significantly reduced cooldown, and if possible, we're going to make the UI for Spirit Rend actually work, because there's currently no UI for this. Weighted Shots has slightly improved stamina recovery. Crippling Headshot also works on NPCs. Glass Cannon, you now get 4% fire rate for assists. That's basically the sum of these changes. Shadow Weave now has move speed instead of sprint speed. Melee damage has been improved, ambush duration has been doubled, and spot radius has been increased. So, probably going to be a crazy item now. Inhibitor is now a weapon item and builds up from slowing bullets. Hopefully that'll actually make it finally an item that people buy, because what is it currently sitting at right now? 4th least popular? No, actually it is a little more popular. Okay, it's right here. Right above Decay. Which I guess would be interesting to buff Decay, but I don't know how I'd do that, so I don't really feel like doing that. Enduring Speed has health regen instead of out of combat regen because sprint speed turns into permanent move speed, so out of combat regen should be permanent regen. Duh. Healing Booster has slightly more health regen. Restorative Locket buff, you now need half the total abilities to be used near you to be at max stacks, and the healing per stack has been increased. Remove the passive Spirit Power and Spirit Power from parrying a spell from Counterspell. I think it's still going to be busted. I'm putting that to the test. Fortitude, small buff to the damage window. Majestic Leap, small buff to the cooldown. Trophy Collector grants 55 bonus health, and also grants move speed instead of sprint speed for the stack. Remove Cheat Death because it's stupid. Buff Diviner's Kevlar for more ability range and Spirit Power. So, in the spirit of big ults. Juggernaut has more move speed because I want there to be more move speed on this item. Since it upgrades from a movement speed item, it doesn't have more move speed. And then Unstoppable has 40% debuff resist because crowd control sucks. And then finally, Magic Carpet gets a million buffs. Less summon duration, so you get into the Magic Carpet quicker. You get a barrier now, so that's cool. You get more fly speed, more ability duration, more spirit power. Cooldown is reduced, and it now grants 6% cooldown reduction. And that is the patch. That took a while to make. And I'm going to need to add some more flavor text and explanations to these, which I will do in my own time. But yeah, that's going to do it for now. So, the modders are going to get to work on implementing all of this. Hopefully we actually get all of this. And, yeah. I guess we'll hopefully get to record the video sooner rather than later. I don't know when the patch is going to be done, and I don't know when we're going to get to actually recording the matches, but hopefully it'll be very soon, and I'm very excited to see how this goes. Did Metro recommend you Gluten Snake for this experiment, or did he reach out? I don't have contact with Metro. One of Metro's moderators actually contacted me about it, which was very nice. So, yeah. My voice is so dry. I need to stop talking. I need to go get some dinner. I need to get more to drink because I'm really thirsty. We need to end the stream for today. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. And, yeah, if you did, of course, make sure to follow me on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. I will be back on Friday with some more regular gameplay, of course. And wait, was he here 15 minutes ago? I didn't see him. Which chat was he on? I don't see. I don't know. Here, Twitch? I didn't see it. Anyways, I don't know. I'm going to end the stream now, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. I will see you all next time. Peace out.